do have a million different varieties of poutine up here. I had buttered chicken poutine.
Come on.
A couple months ago. Divine.
Buttered chicken.
Oh my god. Yeah, okay, you're making me hungry, so stop. Because now I want to try all of these.
You gotta bring
things.
Snacks.
Well, I mean, I just had a bit of a snack, but the point is that my snack was not that.
All my backups are in place.
Butter chicken poutine is not a thing I have available to me right now, and now I really wish I did.
Only Canadians do. And look at Graham just shoving it in our face.
I suppose we could make it if we really wanted to. I mean,
oh.
The optimal solution, of course, is make your own if you have to. But
really, I am playing psychological warfare.
Trying to get us to defect? Trying to get us to defect? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
You don't need to try real hard right now.
No, I'm sorry.
We are streaming, everybody, so.
Their winters are way too cold for me.
Oh, no, not for me. I like it cold.
Cold sounds fine to me.
I got the ice in my blood. I could not live with, like, American mild winters. It just feels unnatural.
I guess that part.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I always joke that if I ever retire, I'm going to move north, not south. Because the older I get, the more I hate heat.
I always said if I ever won the lottery, I would have a summer house in Alaska or basically somewhere north, but I would winter then, back in Ohio. So,
which gets its own share of winter.
Yeah, it does.
It does, but it's not bad.
Yeah,
I can handle Ohio's winters.
Well, I'm actually in what's essentially a microclimate. Because Binghamton sits at the confluence of two rivers, which creates this kind of neat little microclimate.
Yep.
And at the same time, we're basically too far west for the northeaster storms and too far south for the lake effect.
That doesn't sound bad.
So we're kind of in a sweet spot. Like Whitney Point, which is 25 miles north of here, averages twice the snowfall we do.
Okay.
Because that's where the lake effect basically ends.
We don't nearly see the snowfall we used to in my childhood, but
yeah, well, nobody does now.
Nobody ever will again.
We might get some lake effect once in a while, but the wind has to be really strong out of the northeast for us to get any off of Lake Michigan.
Yeah, the lake effect snow basically ends about 20-25 miles north of here. It almost never touches us. So we're really in a kind of sweet spot weather-wise.
So what is the date of this funeral, this will reading, whatever we're supposed to be going to?
It was at the end of the month of, I think we were in June.
We're in June. 7th, we're on the 8th right now. It was the 7th when
it was at the end of the month.
So is it on a Friday or a Saturday?
Let's say a Saturday.
So it's Saturday, June 29th?
That'll work.
Okay.
As good a date as I can remember. And you have the list of people, because I do not know what I did with it.
Yes. I'll have to pull it up. I haven't printed it out yet. Yeah. But I can find it here momentarily. Oh my God. What the hell? Why did these all open?
Because last we left off, I think that's where we were. You talked to the solicitor, learned that you were among a number of people who were mentioned in Dr. Libble's will.
Dr. Payne.
We also do not know how he died.
When he died, where he died. We don't know anything.
We know basically nothing about his death.
Right. So, and we met was Saturday the 8th. We met that evening. They had supper with me. We discussed everything that had happened to them that day. Okay. I've been working all day that day, so nothing really happened to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the list.
And you guys had also dug into what the hieroglyphs meant.
Yes, with Thornhill.
Yeah.
Who is obviously insane and violent, possibly. Maybe he's harmless.
Yeah.
He's harmless. He'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Well, yeah, Major Thornhill is...
It's fine. Everything's
more than a little nuts. And,
it's fine. Did anybody do a psychology check on him and find he was dangerous?
Well, he's more than a little insane and keeps loaded firearms all around himself.
So do I.
Yes. Yeah,
I think we all kind of do at this point in time.
Except you still have some sanity points. I don't know that he does.
Oh, okay.
And when he has a bad reaction, he tends to threaten people with either a saber or a firearm.
Oh, good. Let's aim him in the bad guy's direction.
And of course, being who he is, no one has, say, tried to arrest him or some such.
All right. Oh.
Which feels like somebody ought to at some point.
Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, no, that's great. Nothing can go wrong there.
So, I have some ideas. If we get together after supper, and have drinks.
Yeah, let's say Saturday night.
After supper.
At where? At your place?
Yeah, because they ate at my place. I invited everyone. They came over. They said, "Oh yeah, we met this guy. Here's what these hieroglyphs mean. Don't be scared, but they mean terrible things." And met a crazy guy, and I said, "Oh, let's invite him along." And then we had supper. It was very nice. Mrs. Fletcher, Mrs. Payne was a little put out by unexpected guests, but she works really well with that kind of thing. And then we had drinks.
She kind of has to, because people drop by your office at all hours.
And she's helped before.
Sometimes problems don't happen during business hours.
So I have an idea. So, as we're having drinks in the study afterwards, just the gentleman and I.
Yep.
I will send. I'll send letters to Rourke Howard, Dr. William Tremont, and Declan O'Brien, because I have their addresses. I've given them to solicitors, and I'll send letters to them and see what I can find out from them about why they might be receiving some money from Dr. Wibble. Can you, gentlemen?
By the way, important point: we do not know whether it's money. It didn't specify what each person was to receive.
Correct.
Whether it's property.
No,
money,
I know. But I
something.
said whatever I said. If I said money, I said money. Can you gentlemen?
What assets? Yeah.
Can you gentlemen find Vincent Phillip and Marcus Coldwell? Because I don't know those two. Would that be possible?
Vincent Phillip
and Marcus Coldwell. Actually, those names should be in gaming text and info, because I put ideas of some possible things that we could do next time.
Okay.
Vincent Phillip and Marcus Coldwell. So I put those in there. I will also write to the Impossible Chamber and let them know what's going on.
Okay. Which they knew about Dr. Wibble apparently back in the day,
as well as Wibble's mother, and find out if she knows anything that's going on. I believe. I don't know if I have her address. I can find it.
You do not, but you can probably find that out.
I will talk to a young woman.
You might ask Joseph to forward a message.
I'll do that. I go to the bank on Monday. I don't know where he lives either.
Yeah, no, but you know where he works.
Right.
So he's easy to find.
And the bank will be closed tomorrow on Sunday. So I'll go to the bank Monday for that information. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth, you look like you wanted to speak.
No, I'm wondering if I should invite my fiancée on our adventure.
I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know why I'm one of Dr. Wibble's heirs, whatever it may be called. So I don't know. There might be danger.
No.
Does she know how to fire a gun? Can you find out?
Would I know if she's trained in the use of firearms? I know she's trained in the use of balloons.
Yeah, never came up. Wasn't the kind of thing you'd ever asked.
You didn't take her shooting?
Seems unlikely, but then again, how many women pilot balloons? So
yeah,
what she knows, we shouldn't assume anything at this point.
Shouldn't.
By the way, the correct answer to that question is about 3. How many women pilot balloons? The correct answer is right around 3.
At the very least, I should let her know that I'm planning on traveling.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
I also think you should tell her, if she is coming, that it's a very strange situation. And
of course, I'd warn her.
Very, very strange. And whatever details you wish to discuss, I mean, you're getting married. No, not till November.
Out of season.
Dr. Payne likes a good wedding.
Well, everybody does. But out of season's kind of weird, But then again, is it not be doing what others do exactly your kind of thing? Yeah.
Ah, I had another thought.
A little complicated because. Oh, sorry. You go first.
No, you go first.
Might be complicated traveling at this stage because we're not wedded yet, correct? So it's still improper for us to be alone.
Oh, she could ride with
That's
me.
correct.
I'm a married man, so I'm safe, right? I'm allowed to be around unmarried women.
And especially, of course, if anyone else comes with.
Ooh. Yeah.
Or if you can convince Lavinia to come with you.
I'll have to talk to Rose and see if she wants to come. I hope not. But she might. Maybe she'll be coming, and then Miss Delacourt could go with her.
True. Now, and if you want to do this in a more leisurely fashion, you're going to want 2 days to Cambridge.
Right. We've got
you're going to
like
want
3 weeks.
Leave London one day, travel, stop overnight, and arrive in Cambridge the next day afternoon and evening.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do it in a leisurely fashion.
Yes,
so
gentlemen.
You've got plenty of time to figure out, to figure all those details out.
Yeah. Let's try to contact these other people in London for a few days and then decide upon going up there. I appreciate your coming with me very much. Very much. Oh, could someone go to the Hempstead Inn? To the pub where we met with Mr. Wibble and find out how the barkeep, how the publican knows him.
Which you seem to, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it seems a bit of a lower class inn for someone for a banker's clerk. So that seemed interesting. Perhaps Edgeworth or Baker you could go. As you're not really connected with him.
I could go, yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
There was. Sorry, remind me. It's been just a couple weeks. Did we see Dempsey yet, or was that
Dempsey? Who's Dempsey?
Was that after? There was the there was the man doing a impromptu exhibit.
When was that? Crap, I've forgotten when that was supposed to be.
That was supposed to be Saturday evening.
Oh, okay. So wait a minute. We got to redo this.
Oh, so that reminds me. Were you guys actually going to that?
We were all going to go to Dempsey.
Yes, that would be
Ronald
after.
Dempsey. I totally forgot about that.
Yes.
Okay, so let us rewind a bit then.
Yes. Could we have this conversation after we go talk to Dempsey?
Or this conversation basically on your way there.
Yeah, let's do that. That's perfect. Okay.
Yes,
so,
that's what I was remembering. We were discussing it because I remember Dr. Payne needed to be back before nightfall.
Yes, but Dempsey's supposed to be at 7, and dusk is until almost 9 o'clock.
Should be
so I should have time. Okay. So we have this discussion. We had a light, quick dinner at the house, and then headed out.
So this conversation actually in a carriage.
Sure.
That sounds great. On your way across town.
I totally forgot Dempsey. Man, I'm slipping.
Yeah. As for Dr. Dempsey, or whatever he's calling himself, we do know that he's used more than one name. So it was, I think, Marcus Dempsey was the name he was going by at the moment.
It was Ronald and Roland Dempsey were the two names that he has used. I have him listed as an Egyptian.
At least the ones we're familiar with.
Yeah, I have him listed as a Egyptian flim-flam man.
That's about as good a description as you got right now. So I think the place that's where we meant to start. That was to visit his show, because this is an entertainment as much as anything. And it was where was it? It was a tavern on the east side.
I'm armed, by the way, with my folding pistol.
Okay, I can't remember the name of the place offhand.
Uh,
But it was a
no.
tavern that houses usually sporting events
Yes.
on the east side. If you can remember, if did you, I don't know if we made a note of the name because I cannot remember it right now. It's the sort of place that at most
Ronald
Saturday nights
Dempsey.
would be.
Oh, that's Hampstead's. Hampstead's at the bar in the East End.
Okay,
So it was a
Hampstead.
different bar that we met Wibble at earlier. I messed up that information as well.
Okay, we'll figure that out later.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's Hempstead's, and that's the bar that is usually basically sports bar, sports pub.
Well, yeah, favored by what folks would call the fancy, which is those who follow that kind of sport, and a place for those of you who know that sort of thing. Hempstead's frequently hosts boxing, so they're having a show tonight instead of the usual show of people punching each other.
Okay. See if your brother-in-law is here.
So it's, one or the other. Now, as you guys arrive, one of you, whichever you like, should make a luck roll.
I'm not looking at my
how
luck.
crowded the place is when you guys arrive.
I'm pretty lucky if you guys want me to make it.
Anyone can.
I remember. All right,
It really comes down to a question of how crowded is the place when you guys arrive.
Oh, boy. Watch out for pickpockets.
No way to control that. No way to control that at your end.
26 out of 70 is my current luck.
Oh, yeah. You've arrived at a good time. There's basically no line for entry.
Oh, thank God.
Which means you pay your entry price, and you get your choice of seats. The ring is still there. In other words, the presentation will take place in what is usually the boxing ring.
Okay.
So you can either position yourself down front and stand, or you can you can grab some of the benches that are located on 3 of the 4 sides and rise up in essentially bleacher style seating. In other words, you've arrived early enough and with less of enough crowd that you've got options for seating.
Should we spread out maybe or stay together?
That's up to you as well. The place is about half full when you arrive.
I don't think it matters.
Okay.
But we do want him to look at... I've got the invitation in my pocket, or that piece of paper in my pocket. Or actually, Edgeworth probably still has it.
Possible.
The letter you received with the hieroglyphs.
Right.
Yeah.
I can hand that back to you.
If you want. Well, yeah, no, you do it, Edward. You talk to this gentleman and see if you can get him to figure out what this means and see if your interpretation is correct.
Or at least get a second
opinion.
opinion.
Watch the show and see if he's worthwhile.
All right. Where do you want to sit?
Okay.
Look, there's some spots there. We can
Do you
stand
wanna
over
take
here.
Yeah, do you want to stand near the railing or do you want to take seats?
What now? What'd you say, Connor?
Nothing. For a moment, I thought that was staying in Bluff.
Say what?
I'm joking.
Oh. Do you want to stand or do you want to sit?
That's it.
All right. So we'll take a place on the bleachers.
Okay. You get a good view. And based on what you can see in the ring is also how you pick your side. Because clearly one side of the bleachers is going to be behind
we don't want
the
that.
display. So you've arrived early enough to get a seat on the side facing the display.
Can I see a window from here?
No.
Damn it. Okay.
No, the Hempstead's arena has no windows.
Oh, man. All right, I'm keeping a close eye on my watch then.
What they do here most weekends is technically illegal.
Oh.
Yeah, remember, boxing is technically assault.
Okay.
But like the speed limit, that stops essentially nobody.
Especially rich people.
Yeah. So there's no windows. There's basically only one real entrance. Truth is, if you know your way around this part of the world, rumor is there are actually several entrances to this room, some of which are concealed.
Okay.
Good bet there's an exit somewhere under the bleachers, for instance. In other words, a back door in case the cops do show up.
Okay.
A place to go. But standing in the ring right now is a pasteboard which has attached to it would appear to be a couple of pieces of parchment. There's also a table holding two little stone statues.
Of what?
They look like people.
Okay. I nudge Edgeworth.
It's hard to get a better look at them because they're only about 5 or 6 inches high.
Oh, okay. What are those?
And they're made of. One of them is made of what appears to be a blue, probably glass fascine. The other is made of black. Is black. The black one also appears to be somewhat damaged. Like it looks like at some point somebody threw it around a bit.
Okay, so it's okay.
On the other hand, those are probably genuine artifacts.
They're in the center of the ring, basically.
Yeah, they're sitting on a little table located inside the ring.
Oh, save my seat.
So there's a couple of pieces of parchment, probably scrolls, that are clearly going to be used to display something, and there's two little statues that are probably genuine Egyptian artifacts.
If somebody walks up to the edge of the ring, not entering it, would you be able to get a better look? At least the statues. Well, save my seat.
So if you do
I'll
that,
step down and I'm going to get closer.
Yep. There's people crowded near the front, but you can sort of, pardon me, push your way in.
Yeah.
And at least get to the front for the moment.
Yeah, I'm not going to
The statues look like, well, they're people for sure.
Right.
If anything, what they look like is an example or two you've perhaps seen of a mummy case. So it's a human statue. The arms are folded like this. The black figure is wearing some kind of a headgear.
Okay.
The blue figure that looks like it's hair. There are also details like, maybe they're supposed to be buttons or gemstones, or essentially the figures are dressed in what appears to be more upscale Egyptian clothing. Although both of them are clearly damaged.
Okay, I'll go back and tell the others, especially Edgeworth, because he told us all about that weird, evil servant of the gods.
By the way, if you circle around, you can see that both figures have what appear to be hieroglyphs on the back.
Oh, I'm telling him that too.
Yeah. Each figure has written from top to bottom are a few hieroglyphs. So perhaps a short sentence, or maybe that's the figure's name.
Too far away to actually see any details on the hieroglyphs?
Yeah, not really.
Okay.
And so some of them are also damaged.
All right, I'll go back and tell Edgeworth.
But the point is, the statues have hieroglyphs located on the back.
Is this anything, Edgeworth, like that thing you told us about, that messenger of the gods fellow? Does that sound like
you're welcome to make yourself another occult roll. You've been paying attention to this.
Yeah, the black one sparks my interest. I can't make any.
He got it.
He
got it with a Cthulhu Mythos roll.
This is more of a occult roll.
Okay.
Yeah. They're recognizing the hieroglyph or Nylar Hotep.
Yeah.
That is a hard success.
Ooh, I'm gonna make a try. Oh God, no.
So
I have no idea.
Good bet from what you see and what he described. These are figures called Ushabti. They are statues that were buried with the dead. And the idea was that in the afterlife, if the pharaoh called on you to work, and you didn't want to spend your afterlife working, the Ushabti would take your place.
So slave statues.
It's essentially a statue that's supposed to animate and become a slave to do your work so you can enjoy paradise.
Huh.
They were made of glass casting techniques, and many of them were made cheap. In other words, even ordinary Egyptians could often afford one.
Do they both look like they're glass? The black one and the blue one?
That's what they're made of.
Okay.
That's Egyptian glasswork is what it is.
How valuable is that? By the way, I
actually had a chance to visit the Corning Museum of Glass and found out all sorts of fascinating stuff about how amazing the Egyptians were at making glass. Like a lot of that stuff in pharaoh's headdresses I thought was turquoise or blue gemstone. That's glass.
I'm going to ask
gemstones, it's glass.
I'm going to ask Edgeworth how much he thinks they're worth. I mean, are those valuable?
With a hard success,
they
are one of the more common Egyptian artifacts to survive to the present.
So you could buy them in a marketplace, maybe.
That is, they're still probably worth a few dozen pounds a piece.
Okay, so
I mean, they're still ancient artifacts.
I say,
But the point is, as Egyptian artifacts go,
I have that
they are
much in my
one of the
pocket.
more common type of artifacts that have survived. Probably because literally tens of thousands of them were manufactured.
So for us, they're not very valuable. It's not like
not
1,000 pounds or something like that. It's just,
Yeah.
but 10 pounds is money. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of. They're worth, like, if you're a thief, they're worth a lot if you're poor. And the other thing is that as a thief could sell them precisely because of how frequently such artifacts appear in the right markets.
Okay.
Like, it would be very hard to sell certain scrolls that are unique. Ushabti, on the other hand, thousands of them probably still exist.
I tell him I didn't
There
get
may be more than 1,000 that exist in the world right now.
I didn't get a good look at the parchment, though. I was more interested in the little statuettes.
Yeah,
There
the
was some
parchment
symbols on them.
had writing on it, but they were sort of rolled up. In other words,
Right.
he's going to roll them down and display them when the show begins.
Oh, okay.
So it's hard to get a look at that.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
And Edgeworth runs
Anything else to be done
for the outhouse.
as people are still filing in, finding places? The vendors who normally work boxing matches are making their rounds, selling things like nuts, sandwiches, drinks.
Drinks, yes, beer.
Yep.
Or
So
gin.
you don't have to leave your seat to buy a beer or a gin, or a sandwich, or roasted nuts.
I'm buying everything. We're gonna have a bunch of food here.
Okay. Yeah, no reason not to.
I'm stress eating.
Yeah, making the vendors happy.
Yeah, I'm tipping good too.
Yep. And sure enough, at about 7 o'clock, the place is about 3/4 full. Of course, unbalanced. Nobody wants the seats behind the exhibit. So those seats are by and large empty. The few latecomers are basically having to take those seats. Everybody else is either the side you're on, of course, is filled up. Those are the best seats, so people are packed in around you. On the edge, there are people sitting too, but they're sitting essentially parallel to the show.
Right.
So
it's in the round, basically.
Yeah, it's a boxing ring.
Yeah. Okay.
The one side is open, which is where the entrance is. Bleachers on the other three sides.
Okay.
So, and of course, people are packing in at the rail at all four sides. Because that's the same thing would be during a match, where spectators would be crowded right up against the base of the ring. And then, at about 10 minutes past 7, there's your man. Roland, whatever he calls himself.
What's he calling himself right now? He introduces himself or something, right?
He introduces himself as Dr. Roland Dempsey.
Roland.
So he's going with Roland tonight.
Okay.
His clothing is flashy. And his waistcoat, as his jacket is open, is actually embroidered with hieroglyphs.
I'm nudging Edgeworth.
He's gone.
Oh, wait.
He's gone in on this.
They used books to translate. They can't actually. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to read. If the writing on his waistcoat says something, it's going to be hard to read.
Well, none of us actually read Egyptian hieroglyphics, so I remember that, so I stopped my nudging.
Yeah, you would have to basically get the waistcoat, set it aside, and then get the dictionary, assuming that it contains a message at all and not just isn't just here to look good.
Probably.
He is also wearing what appears to be a pharaoh-style crown.
Oh, that's terribly gaudy.
Yeah, it is. Like, he's gone full in on this. And
Bubba
people,
Hotep.
of course, people are cheering it. Oh, yeah, a little bit.
I clap
People are happily cheering as he enters. He then launches into a speech, haranguing the crowd, getting into how the fascination of the ancient Egyptians and their wisdom and how much we know and how much we don't know, and all of the amazing things they knew how to do, and the things that have clearly been lost to us. And then, and this goes on I simplified because this first part of the program will be about 30 minutes in length.
Oh, it's 7:30 already. I'm watching my watch really carefully.
Yeah, I mean, he speaks for quite some time. And a lot of what he says, we would think of as kind of pop archaeology. He's not quite getting toward the whole ancient alien bullshit, but there's a lot of
So many
very questionable
mysteries.
archaeology in here.
Okay.
Yeah. All the grand mysteries, what we don't know of the things that, yeah, we do. Like, we don't know who built the pyramids. Oh, we do. We do. Yeah. Much like, how, remember the TV show Unsolved Mysteries?
Oh yeah.
How most of the mysteries were in fact solved?
They hyped us so much up.
Yeah. Well, let's face it, solved mysteries would be a lot less interesting as a show.
I would prefer solved mysteries.
Today we present things that aren't mysterious, that we already fully understand. Here they are.
Are the people eating this up?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Those
Say
who are here clearly are here to hear this, see this, to enjoy this.
Say that again, Josh. Still couldn't understand it.
Trees?
No, we can't
Whatever
hear.
you said was garbled.
Yeah. He's on his phone right now.
Yeah.
Because he's in the car.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No.
Say it. Loud.
Loud?
Yeah, say it.
There you go.
I was just making a joke about those are called documentaries.
Oh, yes. I like documentaries.
Yes. Now, then he actually gets into what people came to see, which is the hieroglyphs. So what he does is he unrolls a scroll and then begins telling a story about how the scroll was acquired from a street dealer in Cairo who sold mummies, and that it was found in the wrappings of a mummy. He's playing it up.
I'm watching
And
my
if you're
clock.
worried about time, yeah, he's not. This guy is very happy to have the audience eating out of his hand, and he knows it, and he's enjoying it. So whether he knows anything is one thing, but those of you with any points in psychology, he enjoys the spotlight.
Okay.
Simple as that. This man enjoys the spotlight. And he's good at it. He understands oratorical skills. He unrolls the scroll, he tells the story, and then he gets into beginning to explain how the pictograms depict both word and concept and sound, and he begins using an example. So for those of you who already did some reading of the hieroglyphs, short answer is he does know what he's talking about. He's got an understanding of how the system works. So while much of what he said about the archaeology is entertaining at best, bullshit at worst, he actually does have knowledge of how to read this system of writing. And then he begins translating the one scroll he's got, which tells the story of a battle. Of course, he's chosen one that tells a battle. Then he will explain the Ushabti. He's right about that too. He knows what they are, but you knew that already.
Yeah. We've got our own
And
expert.
Holds up one of the Ushabti to show people how to translate what's on the back of it, using it as an example. Explaining how the hieroglyphs are damaged here, but how we can understand this from the context. And basically what the Blue Ushabti, the translation on the back of the Blue Ushabti says, "Call upon me, I will do it." Like, simple as that.
What about the black one?
The black one he does not translate.
What about the black one?
If you ask, say,
yeah, I shouted that out.
This one is a little too badly damaged to catch the second part, as you see here, and he holds it up. And the truth is, it is damaged, but the blue one, the damage to the blue one wasn't all that much less. So one gets the sense this is one he doesn't want it to translate. Not that he cannot, but that he will not.
Didn't Edgeworth? Didn't you just say something about the black one might be connected to that that thing?
Well, it sparks a connection in my mind, but I would need to read the back of it to have to see if there's any actual connection.
So it'd be worth knowing what that one actually says.
Yes, I'm sure that fellow will tell you if you pay him enough.
Now here's your problem.
We're being very quiet right now.
By the time this thing is done, It is about 9 p.m.
Oh dear, well, I've got to go, Edgeworth. Good luck, gentlemen. Find out what's on the black one and see what he says about this. Excuse me, pardon me. I gotta get out of here.
And you begin elbowing your way toward the door.
Very, very kindly.
Okay.
Pardon me, excuse me, pardon me.
What about the rest of you?
There's a seat here.
The doctor, or are you... Well, people don't need the seats much anymore.
Oh,
Many people are leaving, which is why you have to elbow your way out, because you are joining basically... You know what happens at the end of any public event?
Is it over
where everybody's
at 9
moving
o'clock?
toward the exit at the same time.
I thought he was gonna Okay. So it's basically over at 9 o'clock. Okay.
Now, he's not leaving. He's sticking around and chatting with people, accepting congratulations from those who enjoyed the show.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, if you want to speak with him, you can join the line of people who are doing so.
I point to Edgeworth.
If you want to leave, you have to fight through a crowd, because you know how any sporting event,
I
any
should have
movie,
left half
anything,
an hour ago.
when it ends, everybody tries to leave at the same time. So there's a crush of people moving toward the door. Everyone who's leaving is trying to leave.
I'm pointing to Edgeworth, trying to get his attention, and then I'm pointing up to the stage as I'm trying to get out the fucking door.
Yeah. Others are making their way over to the bar, where they're going to commence drinking. In other words, there's nothing more that's going to happen in the arena tonight. But the bar is literally in the same building, and a lot will be happening there, most of it involving gin and beer. So, are some of you actually making your way down to the ring to speak with this man? What's that? I couldn't hear you.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Also, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I probably will head that way, but I might stand back a bit. But
okay, so Dr. Payne is heading for the exit, and will grab a carriage to head home, like as not. The three of you, meantime, make your way down to the ring.
A covered carriage.
And then basically join a line of people who are congratulating Dr. Dempsey on a great performance. They're asking questions. He's clearly now holding court, and again enjoying the spotlight. Eventually, you will be able to get to the front, where you'll be able to address him directly. And he, of course, is waiting for the obligatory congratulation before you say anything else.
Dr. Dempsey, a splendid show. It's very educational.
Well, thank you, sir.
Feel as if my knowledge of the old kingdoms has only expanded.
That's as it should be. There is so much that we do not know. Every day, I myself learn something new. And I think if I lived 1,000 lifetimes, I wouldn't learn all there was to know.
Amazing. I'm particularly interested in the what are the relics? And I point at the little ones playing dumb a bit.
The Ushabti. Incidentally, in the time he's been chatting with people, he has put the two of them into a wooden box filled with straw to protect them.
Fascinating.
Now, of course, the box hasn't gone anywhere, but he has placed them inside the box. Like he's packing them up for travel.
I'm Connor Edgeworth, and these are my associates, and I gesture to Illingsworth and Baker.
Nice to meet you.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Always a pleasure to know new seekers of knowledge.
And we were wondering if we could steal but a moment of your time.
He looks at the other people assembled. A moment, of course. As in, there are others waiting to speak with him as well.
Absolutely. If now is not appropriate, we can always circle back. But and I take out the letter, and I just sort of like hold it up so that he can see the hieroglyphs written on it just barely, just to perceive that they're. We're somewhat of a group of fellows who stumble into different interesting situations, and one of our interesting situations had us come across this, and we were wondering if we could inquire after your expertise.
Well, naturally.
Of
May I? He holds a hand out, as in, will you let him handle the letter?
I will hand him the letter so they may see it, and I would like to pay very close attention to his expressions.
Okay.
I would encourage my fellow investigators to do so as well.
Yeah.
I am also watching.
I'll try, but
each of you then is welcome to make either a spot hidden or a psychology roll.
it's going to be a spot hidden.
I'll make a spot hidden.
Psychology.
different things for different ones, but you're only going to get, of course, one of these two. He's going to
Spot
read
hidden
quickly
is
and then
a
hand it
hard
back.
success.
Hard success.
Nice.
Okay.
Spot hidden is a failure for me.
Okay. And Josh?
Way of checking. I don't have my sheet with me. Honestly, to be included.
You garbled again.
I don't have my sheet with me. I am in a car.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
I will
somebody
be
want
home. I'll be home in about 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, somebody roll for him, and we'll just guess for the moment.
In that case.
Well, say I got a hard success on my spot hidden, so
okay.
41 for psychology.
Psychology or psychology or spot. Do you remember which skill you have your character has that's better?
Josh?
My spot hidden is definitely better.
I rolled a 41. I just made a quick roll. It's a 41.
So probably at least a regular success. So I think hard success is going to run the day here. So none of you are going to get a good sense of what he's thinking. But what you will notice, and I point to Illingsworth first here, is he takes the paper and he flinches as he reads it.
Okay.
His face is absolutely neutral. The man has a poker face. Of course he does. But the involuntary flinch in his fingers as he takes the paper and then does like, oh, okay. And then he holds it at a reading distance. Thinks about it for a moment. Like he's clearly, you can see the wheels turning as he reads what's there. But the truth is, I think he caught it in the initial moment.
Okay.
And then he hands it back to you. May I ask you something, sir?
All means. I am also a proponent of the free exchange of knowledge.
Do you have any inkling of what is written here?
We consulted an expert.
Graham, you're muted.
Earlier.
Oh, sorry, Josh, go ahead. Yeah, you are. Josh, go ahead. No, Josh.
No, I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, okay. You were not. So who was?
I wasn't saying anything. Yeah, say it was.
Oh, it was Graham was saying something. Okay, so go ahead then.
Consulted with an expert earlier today, I believe. Gave us an initial rough translation, and when we heard about your show, we thought it'd be best to check the math, so to speak.
Sensible. And what did your man think this meant?
That it was an invitation of sorts.
Well, he was correct after a fashion. But I myself, it's unpleasant. The best translation I can render the text is give or make ready a gift for the night pharaoh who comes in darkness. This is usually a reference to Anubis, which means colloquially, this would be a reference to give a gift to the dead. And so, by metaphor, to engage in mourning, to wail and weep for the dead.
Lament.
Yes. The form of the name, however, is unusual.
Josh is probably going in the house.
Okay. Anubis's name is usually rendered as cartouche, whereas this renders the name via the characters na, lo, and then to and pa, which, given the vowels, would become Nylar Hotep. That name is rarely associated with Anubis.
You've heard
So
it
the
before.
formula suggests Anubis. The name does not.
You've encountered this name before?
Once or twice, yes.
In what context have you encountered this name before, Dr. Dempsey?
It was outside of Cairo. I was preparing an expedition to Luxor. And at this point, he realizes other people are listening and now raises his voice to become the lecturer again. As people who are waiting their turn to speak to him have now caught on that he's telling a story and are now listening. And as I prepared to do so, I was informed of a stone that carried that name, that had been discovered near Luxor by a previous expedition who had returned up the river. Now, of course, I was intrigued to understand such a thing, as no stone bearing that name had ever been found near Luxor. So I went there myself, but I could not find it. And I was told by some of the natives that a group of men, others said it was a group of women, destroyed the stone when knowledge of it came to be more widely spread. That they found the stone and they took pick and shovel to it and destroyed it beyond recognition. I, in truth, barely escaped from that place with my life. I did attempt to see that it was truly damaged beyond recognition, and that very night, it's a longer story, but a man attempted to enter my room with a knife.
Oh.
Now, I was, of course, aware of the danger and of the way some of these people feel, thus I was awake. And when the man entered, I hid, and he did not see me. These things happen periodically. And of course, the admiration of the crowd for a man here who, knew how to survive an assassination attempt, who was threatened by hostile people in third world countries with knives. Yeah, he's playing it up.
How brave he must have been.
Exactly.
I'm certainly glad you're still with us, Doctor.
Well, thank you. The point of the story is that the name is attested in practically no documents, and the only attestation that I was aware of, I was unable to see. So I'm at pains to say, uncertain of any other document that attests that name, at least outside of oral culture, and of course that stone. Now, granted, there probably are such other documents. I've just never had the good fortune to set my hands on one. But the better explanation, I think, in any case, is the idea that this is a call for lamentation. That is to say, a request that the receiver of this letter weep and wail and perform funerary rites for the dead. I take it this letter involves somebody dying recently?
Yes, it is connected to a recent passing, unfortunately.
Well, that makes sense. You know that in ancient Egypt there were professional mourners? People were hired to join funerals where they would weep and wail and rend their clothing to demonstrate grief. So that's most likely the context of this.
You know,
Good
the
to know.
Banshee is also inspired by Keating women who performed a similar role.
So I've heard. And that may be a connection that we one day will discover and explore.
The intricate web of history stretches forever onward.
Exactly. And at this point, you'll sort of be, pushed forward by others who want to speak to him as well. Now, the problem, of course, is you still
Thank you
haven't
for your
seen what
time.
the Black Ushabti says.
Grab it.
Good point. Baker,
It's in the
any
box.
clever solutions?
You could theoretically open the box while he's talking to the crowd. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm engaging him, so I can't do it.
Yeah,
I'm
one
pulling
of
his
the other
attention.
of you could theoretically put your hand in that box.
I'll do it.
Okay. How is your sleight of hand?
Let's see. I actually have my character sheet now. I'm home.
Good. As a successful sleight of hand roll will get you the Ushabti if you wish without being seen at all. You will get an advantage die on this because there's a crowd around you.
Okay, let's try.
There's a lot of people standing around who are near the box. And it's not locked or secured. He just opened the lid, put the two statues in the straw, and closed the lid. The box itself is probably going into his trunk or a suitcase or something once he leaves the arena. In other words, this is not a security box. This is simply padding to protect the statues in transit.
Thank you for the second die. So first roll was 54, second roll was 17. And that
Hey! Nice,
Okay,
nice,
then.
nice.
So, 17 a success on sleight of hand?
Yep.
All right. So, are you taking the Black Ushabti with you? Slip it out of the box in your own pocket if you want.
Beacon. Yes, I will. I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll try to pocket it.
And then you probably want to leave before he does, because you know he's going to open that box and look before he packs up his stuff.
Yep, I will graciously make my exit. Thank you.
Okay.
Best be getting back to the missus.
Yep. So, you guys, the rest of you will probably eventually make your way out as well. Which means, are you meeting again tonight?
We did not make any plans for that at all.
Yeah. No, we didn't.
We did not.
Okay, so tomorrow then, Sunday, let's say.
Yeah, let's meet back up. Let's meet back up at the club. I think that'd be a good idea.
Okay, so Sunday luncheon at the club. Now, Mr. Baker, did you do anything with the Ushabti overnight, or are you simply bringing it with you in the morning?
I would try to inspect it while I have it by myself.
Okay, how much do you know about hieroglyphics?
I know German and Latin. I don't have any Egyptology on my skills here.
Yep. Well, you guys did grab dictionaries and dig in like that.
We do have Thornhill's guide.
Yep, and you do have Thornhill's guide. So you can make an education roll if you're willing to take a chunk of the night and see if you can make any progress. The upside is it's a small sentence.
I'll try. I'll try this.
So, fortunately, you won't be wrapped in complex grammar.
I'll try it. Let's go.
And let's hope it's not,
I'm going to spend 1 luck to make that a regular success.
Okay. Well, given the damage to the hieroglyphs, you can't be certain your translation is correct. But the best guess you're coming to right now has the thing indicating that name, Nylar Hotep.
Oh, God.
Saying, it says roughly the face of Nylar Hotep. And then the last glyph is does or means or drives. It's a verb of some sort. So the face of Nylar Hotep does something, drives something, makes something. And the last glyph is really too damaged to guess at if it exists at all. In other words, it may simply be a more generic the idea of the face of Nylar Hotep makes or does.
So there's no possible edge of a hieroglyph finishing the sentence.
It's possible, although it's possible that that's simply damage to the statue. How's your archaeology skill?
Ha!
Let's see.
Because that would be archaeology is the appropriate skill here to tell whether that's a damaged hieroglyph or simply cracks in the statue.
All right. Let me see if I roll a 1.
What's the
Or
difference?
get close enough to spend luck points.
Oh my gosh. That's a 3 on die.
So 2 luck points will get you there.
I will spend the 2 luck points.
Yeah, and that gets you a check in that skill too.
It does. It does.
Yeah, it does.
That's right.
That last character, that's not simply a breaks in the statue. There is a final character there, and it's the character is Ba,
Ba?
Makes death.
which is no person or soul.
Makes soul.
Makes
So the rough translation is the face of Nylar Hotep makes spirit or makes soul. But the thing is, Ba can also be used to refer to an individual. So makes a person, or does a person, or drives a person.
Insane.
Maybe it's
Possibly. So the verb character there is one of those that has multiple translations. The best place you can do it, like where you'll understand it best, is from Latin. Ago agere, which is to drive, to lead, to accomplish, to do, to seek, to expand, to educate. All of those English words can be encompassed in agere. So if it's hard to do this translation-wise, it's because that happens sometimes. The characters you're looking at don't fit neatly into one meaning in English.
okay. Expand, educate,
Yep.
drive.
Do, drive, create.
I'm scared.
I was wondering, is this something to do with possession?
Oh, excuse me. Well, it's an Ushabti, theoretically. I mean, it certainly looks like an Ushabti. It's about the same size as traditional Ushabti are. About 6 inches tall. It's made of facine glass. It was probably once also marked with things like glass beads or even gemstones that are now gone. And there are definitely cracks in it. As in, this thing has been roughly handled over the years.
I make note on a piece of paper, this translation, and I try to note all the different possibilities that this one word could mean.
Yep. Yeah, and given it's a short sentence like this, there's no further context that would narrow it down. If this was part of a larger text, you could use context elsewhere, narrow the meaning down. But, it's not. That's the entire text on the statue. Essentially one line.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's how I spend my night.
Yep, which means Sunday, when you guys meet for lunch, Mr. Baker is going to look like he hasn't gotten much sleep. Because he hasn't. On the other hand, he's got a page of notes.
What are you holding up, Baker? You holding up the statue to show us? Look what I got.
I have the statue. I have I spent all night last night burning the midnight oil, and I have some kind of answer. And I show them, I slide it onto a table so they can all see it.
Yep. It also means Dempsey did know more and didn't, which is why he didn't say anything about that.
That's that name again.
He lied to us. Good job, Baker. He lied to me directly.
Oh.
That's interesting.
He lied to everyone. He said the other one was too damaged to read. It clearly isn't too damaged to read. He just didn't want to read it in public.
Send him a letter. Just says, it wasn't too damaged to read. Don't sign it.
By the way, he is probably now furious the fact that it's missing.
Well,
I don't think he knows who stole it, but he knows somebody stole it.
You took that.
And I suspect we are his number one suspects.
Oh, everybody was talking to him.
Yeah, a lot of people talking to
him.
That's the upside is, although you did have more knowledge and ask some pointed questions, which means if he remembers you, you're probably high on the list. Thing is,
but he's going to remember Edgeworth, and he never had Edgeworth out of his sight the whole time he was talking to him.
He learned your two names only in passing.
Yeah, he might not remember them.
He might
at all.
I don't think I did my name.
He met a lot of people last night.
Yeah, there was a lot of people. Yeah, but Edgeworth introduced you guys.
Yeah,
my friends, Mr. Illingsworth and Mr. Baker.
Yeah, but that's all he did. In fact, what we're going to do right now is we are going to actually make him an intelligence roll and see if he remembers any of the names. And I suspect the answer is no, not really.
Yeah, we don't know that. He won't know my name. I didn't even introduce myself. I was not involved in yet another theft.
He learned your two names only tangentially, and he may not remember them or associate you with him and understand there's a connection. So for the moment, you're probably safe.
Still, probably not a good idea to show that off too much.
Yeah. On the other hand,
I doubt he's a member of Mountbatten.
Yeah, he's not. While it might be interesting to talk to him again, it also might put you guys right back on his top of the suspect list.
Just give it back to him. Mm-hmm. If you see him again, give it back to him. I'm sorry. I don't know how this got in my pocket.
Or claim somebody else took it and you recovered it.
I found this in the street. I thought it looked familiar, but then you were gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so that's what you got. So collectively,
I've got Wibble's address.
Point in the same direction. Now, as for the other, I think your next task was finding the other men.
That's their task. I'm going to write to this afternoon after lunch. I'm going to write to Rourke Howard, William Tremont, and Declan O'Brien. Those are the three who were somewhat classmates with me. They probably don't remember me, but I will write a short letter jogging their memory as to who I was, what class I was in, blah, 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 and ask if they have any idea why they might be coming to this reading of the will, as I do not know why I was invited, and if there were any other writings on the letter to them, as there was some strange picture drawing on mine, is what I'm going to tell them.
Okay, so you're going to make 3 copies of a letter, basically.
It's basically the same letter. Yeah, and I also want to send a letter to Wibble, because we've been corresponding back and forth, and I want to ask him if he can find out how his mother knew my name. And then I also want to send a letter to the Impossible Chamber, basically saying that there is a reading of the will for Dr. Wibble, and when it is, and note that the name Nyarlathotep, if that means anything to them, has come up in context with this.
Okay, so that's going to take some of your Sunday.
Yeah, that's what I'll do Sunday.
And then family time will probably take much of it as well.
Yep, and I ain't going out after dark, so...
what about the rest of you?
I had already asked them to go find Vincent Phillip and Marcus Coldwell, see if they could find them.
Yeah, we don't know much about them.
Go to the pub.
They were also... Yeah, you know that Coldwell and Phillip were also apparently former students of Whibble's?
I don't know that. Never heard those names before.
but they were not. If they were not in the same class
Right.
or time frame as you.
So
the implication that the solicitor came up with is that they were also students. They belonged to the same class you did.
he never said that directly to me. That was never brought up when I was in his office.
That
so
was
I'm
the
not
sort of
making that
implication.
assumption.
What
Okay.
the list was?
But
That we don't know that's true. That was what was implied.
so they're going to go
Or
look
at least
for
that's what
those
he
two.
thinks.
Okay.
And of course, take a look at the pub.
Yeah, in the pub.
Okay, so are
where
you
we
guys
met
doing
him.
this collectively or individually?
I'm writing letters all day, so you guys are. It's up to y'all now again.
Of course, the pub is easy. You know where that was located.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the name of the pub now.
I can't either. I'm gonna have to check the role-playing journal.
Okay,
It should be here. Rolling.
Because that's the easy one. It's the pub hasn't gone. If the pub has gone anywhere since last week, we have a much bigger problem.
It's gone. Oh.
Well, I mean, it could go out of business, I suppose.
In what?
Since last week, seems unlikely it's got out of business since last week.
Edgeworth, Mr. Wibble, Joseph Wibble.
So that's the easy one, in the sense of you know where to begin. As to how to find these other two men, that's more difficult.
So that's you guys.
Yep. So, are you guys doing this individually, or you're splitting up to do this, or do you want to do this collectively?
And collectively.
Okay, so all three of you together.
I'll let Baker and Illingsworth take the lead on this one.
Oh, I don't know how I'm going to really find out any information about these people, in all honesty. I'm trying to look at my skills, so I'm like, unless I can persuade someone to give me information, that's about, I think, the only chance I'm going to have.
If we're looking into information, I've got high points in library use.
Sheffield's Pub.
Yep. Oh, Sheffield's.
That's the name of it.
There we are. Okay.
The pub? Okay, let's go to the pub.
That's the easy one. Because we know where it is. So, start there then.
We go to the pub, gentlemen.
Sounds good.
I've never been to a pub before. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, you have. You've been to this pub before.
Yep. Now, this place, remember, was in St. Giles, which is, to be polite, not the nicest of neighborhoods.
A working class neighborhood.
A working class pub.
This is more working class than next door in Seven Dials, which I would keep my hands very tightly around my wallet at any point in Seven Dials. Because while it's not true that everyone in Seven Dials is a thief, it's not untrue either. There are a lot of very poor, desperate people here who you'd be surprised what they would do for a few dollars. So, this. On the other hand, Sheffield's Pub in St. Giles without the fields, a little safer, located just off High Street. And on a Sunday at about 2 p.m., is fairly crowded. There are people playing cards and dominoes. There are people engaged in betting on cards and dominoes, some of whom are actually not playing; they're simply betting on the play of others. Cheap beer. The whole place smells like it. The man you saw keeping the bar the other day, the one who knew Joseph Whipple, he's still here, refilling glasses and generally keeping an eye on things. He's not the only one behind the bar. There's a middle-aged woman working behind the bar, too. His wife, maybe? The bar itself, there's room for you to move to, as most of the people are at the tables where games are being played. In other words, it's Sunday afternoon. For many of these people, it is the only time of the week they get off work. So this is like Sunday between the end of church and dinner time is their leisure for the week. So they are taking advantage and packing all of the fun they can into these 4 or 5 hours. Which is to say, nobody notices you guys coming in. other than people look up, say, "Oh, look, people," and then go
Right.
back to whatever they're paying attention to.
I think we make the point to dress down again.
Okay, so you don't stand out as much.
Yeah.
Yep. It's the woman who will meet you at the bar and ask what she can get you.
An
Her
ale is
voice
fine with me.
Harsh,
Yeah.
probably tobacco. And she will happily tap you some ale. It's watery. It's cheap.
Yeah.
It's not very good. But if you consume enough, it will get you drunk.
Oh, I'm sure.
Which is kind of the point here.
Right.
Same for you, gentlemen?
Yes, please.
All right, then. And she'll serve you, 3 of you, and then move on to other customers. They are doing a brisk Sunday afternoon business. This is also true, by the way, of apparently a side business in meat pies. Apparently, penny pies are quite popular on Sunday.
Are those like empanadas?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
No, but essentially, yeah, the English version of the empanada is not a bad way to look at it.
Right. Well, when you call them penny pies, I'm like, that sounds like something that fits in your hand. So
yeah it is.
Yeah.
Although it is probably best not to ask too many pointed questions about the contents of the meat.
Rat.
Well, no, yeah. As long as it tastes good, it tastes good and it doesn't make you ill, don't ask any questions.
Yeah, it is theoretically either chicken or capon.
Is there a barbershop next door?
I was going to say it is probably not priest. And there's a barbershop not next door, but you will find one further down the street. So, it's probably not people.
What's the name of this street name? Seville?
High Street.
Damn.
Yeah, no, it's almost certainly what it says. Especially given the legal penalties for selling rotten food. Or, things you're not supposed to eat. So, how do you want to do this? As people will basically just, ignore you for the most part. They're having a good time. If any of you, do any of you have points in gaming?
I do not. I thought about that.
This would be a great place to use that skill.
Actually, a gamer?
Yeah. Because that's what these people are doing. They're gambling.
No, I just have a standard 10.
You could ingratiate yourself with this crowd if you knew how to play some of these games.
I might take a chance at some of them regardless, though, in all honesty, but...
Well, are you sitting down to a table then?
Yeah, I'll sit down to a table.
Okay, sure. Make yourself a gaming roll then. As people are coming and going all the time. Games of cards and dice and dominoes.
I rolled an 07. I rolled a regular success.
So you're at 1, you get to check that, and 2, you're actually winning.
It's beginner's luck.
Yeah, well, maybe so. When you find yourself drawing good cards.
Right.
And sometimes, while card games do have elements of skill, the reality is luck of the draw.
Right.
Is luck of the draw.
Right.
You can also now make yourself a persuade roll if you wish, or any other social skill.
No, I'll say persuade is pretty much my social skill. So
now.
And I failed that roll, of course. The 10% one I make, the 50% one I failed.
Well, the reality here is it's a little hard to do this because these people are less interested in casual conversation and more interested in intense play, especially when you are winning their money.
Yeah.
So you are making friends, but you're not making friends.
Right. If I was losing, I'd be making more friends.
Maybe so. On the other hand, you've paid for your drinks and then some, but you're going to walk out of here with a little additional money in your pocket if you wish.
All right.
If it's less than 100 pounds, it's not going to matter.
Right. It's less than 100 pounds.
Yeah, it's.
If it amounts to a full pound, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
These people are playing for pennies.
Yeah.
If you win the equivalent of a total shilling, I'd be surprised. But the point is, for these people, that's a day's wage. For
If
you,
not
it's
more.
meaningless.
Do you attempt to push by taking your winnings and turning it into booze for another chance at persuasion?
You could do that.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Like buy
Buy
some
people.
rounds.
Yeah, buy a round of drinks.
Yeah,
Being
I'll
a
do
good
that.
sport with the money you've won.
Yeah.
That would
Flip it
get
that
you
way.
a pretty much no risk persuasion push.
Yeah, this time I will burn 7 luck to make it a regular success.
Okay.
There we go.
I still rolled fairly high, but
Yeah, I was going to say this one's basically a no risk push because buying people drinks is not going to offend them. The worst that was going to happen is they were still not going to talk to you.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't come out of this badly. You can only come out of this neutral.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But with success, with little help from your friends here, you can get people talking, and eventually getting someone around to the business of, do they know this guy Wibble? And what you'll learn is that several people do know him. They know that he works at a bank, but they know that he's got family who live in St. Giles. That's something you didn't know. As far as anyone knows, they're not sure of their relationship, but he has a relative who lives in St. Giles. And from what they understand, the man who knows that is Harry Sheffield, the barkeeper, which will, of course, explain how Harry knows him. Seems unlikely. I mean, why would he have relatives who live here? He doesn't come from London. Unless there's another side to his family we've never heard of.
Did Wibble tell me where they're from?
His family?
Yeah. Did he ever mention it? Because if he didn't, if it didn't come up, I didn't think to ask. I was a bit flustered by the situation.
From what little you do know, he grew up in Cambridge.
Okay, so I think that they're probably from Cambridge.
Yeah, as far as you know, his family lived in Cambridge.
Okay.
In other words, his extended family lived in and around Cambridge.
Okay.
Remember, the doctor was his uncle, and removed from him in age considerably,
right?
Because his
father was 14 years younger.
Was the doctor's younger brother, who was 14 years younger.
Right. Okay.
So, Wibble is old enough to be his grandfather, and is in fact his uncle. But that has everything to do with the difference in age between Wibble and his brother.
Okay, thank you.
So, didn't know that he has family here, but apparently that is the short answer to it is that he comes around here even though he's moved up in the world because he has relatives here.
Okay, what are you guys doing?
Several of the people gaming here know him. They also know that he never comes around on Sunday because he does not gamble.
Okay.
He apparently considers himself too morally upright to engage in gambling.
I would say, apparently, I do not consider myself that morally upright.
Yeah, most people do not.
Yeah.
But from what they know, he apparently accepts the idea that gambling is sinful and does not engage in it. So he never comes around to Sheffield's on Sunday because he knows that people are going to be doing basically nothing but gambling. Which means they don't know where he is on Sundays. They only know where he isn't. Or more correctly, they have ruled out one place he will not be. That leaves the rest of London.
We do know that he comes back here on other days of the week.
Yeah, he comes periodically. No one seems to keep an exact schedule, but they know that Harry knows him. And of course, if he trusts Harry, that's why he picked this place.
So we could always come back.
Yeah. Yeah, you will not find him here at any point today. They are convinced of that.
We're not here to look. You guys aren't there looking for Wibble. You know that, right?
Yeah. You're here to find out why he chose this place.
Yeah.
And how the pub man knows him. And now you've done that. If you want to know who his relatives are, that's a different issue. So the first question on the table was, why did he choose Sheffield's pub? Why did the pub man know him? Now we have at least a supposed answer to that question. But of course, that answer opens a different question. Why does he have relatives who live in St. Giles without the fields? Who are the rest of his family?
I was going to say, who's his family? Is potentially this Vincent Phillip or Marcus Coldwell? Could they potentially be his family?
Possibly.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Wibble was there when the lawyer mentioned the names.
Yeah.
We were all in the room. If one of them were family, he probably said, "Oh, I can get you that address." Unless he's hiding something.
Or he doesn't want people to know, or he legitimately doesn't know he's related to them.
But
okay,
it's unlikely. I would say it's unlikely that they're related.
It's possible that they're related, but we have no evidence that that's true at this point.
Well, okay. So, can I potentially go up to the bartender at some point in time and see if he may even know this Vincent Phillip or Marcus Coldwell? Potentially, if we persuade, I guess, maybe.
For that, actually, yes, a persuade roll would help there too. Mentioning these two and seeing if he knows either one of them.
I rolled a regular success.
He does not know them directly.
I'm just going to say, all I'm looking for is an address. We're trying to locate. All I'm trying to do is locate an address to get something to them. So
yeah, he doesn't know either of them directly.
Okay.
But he has heard of Marcus Coldwell.
Okay.
He doesn't know much about him, but he knows that Marcus Coldwell has a reputation as being, and he'll now sort of lean in, as one of those young men of the fancy who comes to Seven Dials of a Friday evening, say.
Okay.
That's a prostitute thing, right?
Yeah, it is. In other words, Coldwell comes to Seven Dials probably to visit prostitutes.
Okay.
That's why he's being a little circumspect about it, but what he's implying is that's Coldwell has wealth and visits Seven Dials for the purpose of slumming. In other words, I hate to say it, but you know who might know where to find him? Louis Delacourt.
Edgeworth!
Brother.
Yeah, well, from what Harry knows, Coldwell is a member of the fancy. That is to say, he likes sporting events, and he likes slumming. It's possible that Louis Delacourt knows him. Because that's also a description of Louis Delacourt.
Except he would go to Limehouse. He used to go to Limehouse for his slumming.
But they are both members of the sporting fancy. So they might have crossed paths at like a boxing match.
And Baker has gotten in good with the sporting people.
Exactly.
That is true.
So there's a lot of connections with you guys right now.
Yeah, so you may not need Louis. It's possible that someone among the fight promoters or the boxers knows him.
Louis is a dead shot. Bring him with us.
Also, what was the wrestler? Vincenzo?
Oh,
he's possibly your better connection there too. He's not merely a wrestler; he's also a fight promoter.
Daniel Mendoza?
No, Mendoza's a boxer. Vincenzo was with the circus. I can't remember his proper name.
Hold on, I'm looking for it. Mr. Victorino.
Victorino.
That's the wrestler. Yeah, didn't he kick Baker's ass? He kicked who fought him? Was Baker the one that actually went up? Yeah, okay.
yeah, you got your ass beat by him. Because if Coldwell is a member of the people who enjoy that, Victorino may also be a good guy to speak with. He may know where to find him. So you actually may have got a lead on one of the two men you're looking to find. Now, before you leave this area, are you going to attempt to find out who Wibble's relatives are, or are we satisfied with the question and moving on to the next task?
I'll try to push for that a little bit.
Okay. What you'll learn here is no one really knows except probably Harry.
Okay.
And Harry is being circumspect about that.
Bribe him.
Like, it becomes clear to those of you watching that this is something Wibble does not want publicly known. Now, is this some kind of embarrassment? Is this fear that it would harm his career at the bank? And Harry is not going to give this up because Harry actually looks out for Joseph Wibble's well-being. And the implication is this knowledge would potentially harm either harm Joseph or harm his career.
Okay.
In other words, his relatives are not merely people who live in this neighborhood. They're perhaps people who are up to no good, have a bad reputation, or some such. The kind of thing that really potentially could harm his career.
Okay.
So he's not going to give this to you no matter what you're offering here. That becomes clear very quickly.
And part of me thought of saying something, but I think that would be a fast talk for me to say, and my guy's not a liar, so I'm not going to say that.
Yeah. No, the point is that Harry is the sort of man who values loyalty, which means you're not buying this from him.
No, I wouldn't. I wasn't thinking about buying it from him. I was thinking about saying I was a friend of the family or something, but I'm not.
Yeah, you could try to trick him out of it.
Yeah,
but that would be fast talk.
Yeah, that'd be a fast talk, and no. So
yeah, because he's clearly not going to give this up under any conventional circumstances. Also says something about his willingness to go after his friends. That Harry is the kind of man who, when he gives you his word, he's going to keep it.
Good man. That was just a test. Here's 10 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, you can, tip him or bribe him, but you're not getting anywhere that way with him.
No. I'm not going to push anything with him. So.
Yeah. So somewhere, all we know right now, therefore, is whoever Wibble's relatives are, he does not want that to be publicly known.
Yeah.
And it's pretty clear most of the bar patrons here don't really know who they are. They know this man comes around. They've heard that he's got friends or relatives who live in the neighborhood. They know Harry knows, and they don't know anything else.
Now, did they definitely get that it was relatives or friends or relatives? How vague was this?
Most people seem to think they're relatives. Okay. Not everybody, but most people.
Okay.
The assumption is they're relatives of some kind. The feel one gets is if they're not relatives, they're still family, and so they're either blood family or found family. They're people you would go to extremes for. The kind of people that Joseph Wibble would act in their interest, and at the same time does not wish to be known to be associated with them.
My letters are off.
So, anything else to be done to pursue that? Or shall we leave that and move on to see if we can find Coldwell or Philip?
I think we move on.
Okay. Okay. So, next thing then is perhaps to see if you can find Victorino. And in all fairness, given his size, that shouldn't be too hard. Actually, I joke. It's not as easy as all that. But inquiries made at the club can tell you where the circus is currently holed up, which would be at St. Michael's. They have apparently booked an engagement there and will be playing there for several weeks. They'll also be playing a local fair.
Is St. Michael's a church or a neighborhood?
St. Michael's is what was a church once upon a time.
Okay.
And is now a theater and entertainment venue.
Oh, okay.
It's kept its name. It's another case of, in this case, a formerly Catholic church that was was overtaken by the Protestant church, and then decided with falling enrollment they didn't want it anymore. So they sold the property to an entrepreneur who kept the name, and given the building's acoustics and structure, have been using it primarily as a theater. So it's become a St. Michael's Theater rather than St. Michael's Church. On the other hand, churches are, what's the difference between a church and a theater in terms of architecture? Not much, really. So it'll take you, so by the time you've done that, it's about 4 p.m. And at St. Michael's, you will find the assembled circus performers and Mr. Victorino, who you will find sitting in one of the seats, which is now what used to be the pews and have now been replaced by seating. Some of the benches have been kept. Some, in cases, they've taken them out and replaced them with individual seats. Smoking a pipe and essentially relaxing. It looks like he's probably just finished a rehearsal, given that he's wearing a robe but not a shirt. So he's got his culotte style pants on. He's got his fighting boots, but he isn't wearing a shirt. Instead, he's wrapped a robe around his upper body. And, oddly enough, will recognize you from when you saw him at Lord Vauxhall's. Stands up and says, "You were the gentleman... Baker, was it? Baker, right?"
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, you lasted into the second round, didn't you?
I did. And then I was knocked out.
Yeah,
almost immediately.
I recall. I do try to keep record of most fights. Or at least, the ones one learns something from.
I've been reviewing your book.
Good.
On,
Good.
So.
It's really worth the time. And for all those who say the pugilists are nothing but ruffians, well, I say, and he looks around to see who's listening, fuck them all. And any that don't like, well, yeah, he's got a message for those who don't like fighting. He will punch them. He will punch anyone who dislikes fist fighting.
I know swearing usually lessens one's reputation, but now I think more highly of him.
Yeah. He can get away with it here. So, what brings you gentlemen around?
It's a logic.
I certainly hadn't expected to see you this afternoon. We're just wrapping up rehearsals. Oh, have you met the Chin brothers?
The Chin brothers?
He indicates with his hand. 3 are those, I guess they're Chinese. They're wearing tight-fitting, bright costumes.
Were those the acrobats that were there?
Yes.
I bet they're... I was thinking they're going to be contortionists, but all right.
No, remember you saw acrobats. Yeah.
Okay.
Acrobat.
Yeah.
Somebody on a high wire, Victorino, and
yeah.
I think that was it.
Yeah, we don't remember the name of the high wire guy, but now we know the name of the acrobats.
Okay.
Apparently they're brothers, or at least that's the role they play on stage.
Right.
Whether they're actually brothers is a completely different issue. They bill themselves as the Chin brothers. Yeah, they're acrobats. So,
Mr. Gambischler was the tightrope man.
He was the tightrope walker. I'm keeping the list myself, too, because I keep losing track of these things.
I'll send you a new copy of my list.
Good.
As well.
So, that was last there, as he said. What brings you around?
are trying to find the location of a couple of individuals, a Vincent Phillip and a Marcus Coldwell. We simply just need an address.
Make him a luck roll. Ooh.
You said make a luck roll?
No, I made him a luck roll. I was curious as to whether he actually knows them. So luck roll on his part, and with a hard success, you'll get lucky here.
Okay.
Yeah, he says, I know them.
As I said, we are just merely need an address. We're trying to get some information to them, is all.
Well, as for Coldwell, that I can give you his address off the top of my head.
Oh, that'd be quite helpful.
It's 17, I think 17 Market Street. Or is it 19? Nope, 17. 17 Market Street. He's got a townhouse there. I've had the occasion to visit him 2 or 3 times. Decent enough fellow. Although I will admit, he thinks more highly of his skills in the art of Fistiana than they ought to be thought of.
Oh, and what skills are that?
Well, of course, the noble art of Fistiana. Boxing, sir. Boxing.
Yes, I understood that. What skills does Mr. Caldwell think he has?
He thinks himself a far better boxer than he is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Well, he enjoys the matches greatly. He had me for supper once to suggest that I help him raise stakes for about... It was not the best idea. He wanted to take on... Who was it? Jem Stern? I believe it was. It was Jem Stern he wanted to take on, and that was a very poor choice on his part. He, in all fairness, probably would have been beaten bloody. So
this Jem Stern is another pugilist as yourself.
Mr. Stern is a proper professor of the pugilistic arts.
Okay.
And he would have dismantled Caldwell. So I politely suggested that Mr. Caldwell take on an opponent more equal to his skill level, something he did not wish to hear at the time, and so we did not part on the best of terms.
I see.
But 17 Market Street is where he keeps a townhouse, that's for certain. If it's not 19. It's the one with the blue facing, in any case. You'll know it. As for Philip, if it's Vince Phillip you're referring to, I've seen him around the matches a few times. I don't know as much about the man.
Do you know someone who might? Does he associate himself with anyone else? Maybe we could find someone else who could point us in the right direction.
I'm reasonably certain that he's the man who's done more than anything to raise the stakes when Professor Stern will step in the ring next. And so I can cheerfully write to Professor Stern for you and see if he knows where Mr. Phillip might be found.
Okay. Yes, that would be quite helpful. And then I'll give him my address then of my apartment that I'm staying at in London.
Okay.
So he can
send me whatever information.
What was his first name? Jem? Stern. Like gem,
Yeah.
like a gemstone, or Jem, or
It's spelled with a J, but yeah, it's pronounced
Jem.
like a gem.
Okay, thanks.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Sorry about that.
I'll add him to the list as well. So, long story short, then, by the end of the day, you've actually got contacts for both these. And of course, it's going to take another day or two for all this to play itself out.
But we got a couple of weeks, right? Before.
Yeah, you've got time.
Yeah.
Which means you will be able to get in touch with these two.
Okay.
Through, it turns out that Victorino will tell you that he spoke with Mr. Stern, who says that he can get you in touch with Philip. And as for Caldwell, he is willing to, if you guys send him a calling card, he's probably willing to receive you at his house. Or
if you send the calling card to who?
Phillips.
So Caldwell.
Okay.
Caldwell.
Okay.
Well, Phillips will you're waiting to hear back from. Stern sent him a letter and is waiting for a reply. Basically, what I'll tell you there is he spoke to Mr. Stern, who wrote to Philip, and is expecting an answer any day now. But by Monday, you've got clearance to call on Mr. Caldwell either at his club or at his house.
Okay.
He's a member of White's. It's a downtown club. I'm not sure if any of you are members. Do any of you have a credit rating above 75 or greater? Okay.
80
so
here.
You might be a member of White's.
What's
credit
White's?
rating? Oh, no.
It's a club.
Oh, okay.
You said of 75, right?
75 or better.
No.
If you don't have a credit rating of 75 or better, you are not a member of White's, we promise.
Okay.
Yeah, mine's 80.
If you do, you might or might not be a member.
I think Baker's is even higher than mine.
I'm going to spend luck to be a member. No, I'm just joking.
No, the point is they won't let you in. White's is a pretty exclusive club. And since most of you are already members of one club, well, all of you are, you may or may not need or want to be a member of more than one. Some people are.
Probably
There's nothing
not.
that says you can't be a member of more than one club.
Right.
But it's an expense that you probably don't need to spend on unless you intend to make use of it.
Nah, I'm not a member. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, because it costs a lot to join. It's worth it if you're going to make use of it.
Right. Mountbatten is not as expensive, so.
Yeah. On the other hand, Caldwell is a member of White's. So he's willing to meet you there or at his house, whichever you prefer.
Well, here's a question. Did I hear back from any of the people that I wrote letters to before?
Actually, make a luck roll on that basis.
Okay.
If they got back to you by Monday.
Okay.
Because there's no mail on Sunday.
Right. I went ahead and sent them on Sunday, like put them in the post box or whatever. But yeah, I understood. No, that's a fail. 93. That's really high.
No one. So by the end of Monday, no one has responded yet.
Okay, and they've already found out about.
Yeah,
did they tell
what
me?
they did.
Did they tell me what you guys had learned?
Did they?
I would have tried to keep in touch with everyone.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay. So yeah, they know that.
Then
so
I'm going to send an additional letter to Wibble, young Wibble,
okay,
and ask if we can meet at some time during this week. Soon.
Yeah, he's amenable to that.
Okay. So whenever it's
the easiest
convenient
thing
for
would
him.
be to meet him for lunch downtown near Fleet Street.
When does he want to meet?
Wednesday would be fine for him. Lunch at say
Okay.
1 o'clock at Banneker's.
Okay. I let the others know about
It's
this
a tavern
meeting.
on Fleet Street.
Tavern.
Popular. A lot of the bankers take their lunch there.
Okay. Ooh, that's perfect. I'm going to tell the rest of these gentlemen that I'm going to directly ask him about his relatives in St. Giles without the fields.
Okay. On Wednesday.
That's my plan. And being in a restaurant full of other bankers, where he doesn't want to make a scene, would probably be a good place for that.
Yeah. Now, do you want to call on Caldwell first?
I'll go with them as long as it's during the
day.
day.
Do so on Tuesday if you want. If you do it in the daytime, you're probably going to find him at home.
I'll go in the day, not after dark. No.
Okay. So is this an everybody thing then? To go pay a visit to Mr. Caldwell?
Unless that would be rude or weird.
No, he
For
said he was
4
willing to
men to
receive
show
you.
up. Okay. Well, I'm just going to tell him that about the will if he hasn't received it yet, and ask his permission to give them
Okay.
give his address to those solicitors.
Yep. So make your way over to Market Street then.
Okay, this is Tuesday.
Tuesday afternoon.
Okay.
And the door will be answered. Caldwell's door will be answered by a woman. You'd expect a butler or some to do that. She's wearing a servant's uniform.
Oh.
But normally handling the door is usually a male servant's job. So it's a little unusual. But this is a servant, just unusual to see a woman handling what appears to be essentially the butler's role.
Where's Mr. Caldwell?
Yes, you're expected, she says. Please come in. This way. And she will show you to a rather well-appointed study. Paintings mostly, collection of books. Also worth pointing out that one room of the house that you'll pass by is empty. Completely empty.
Okay. Not even wainscoting on the walls? Oh, I don't know. I'm just...
Good bet. That's been turned into essentially a boxing ring.
Oh, that's right. They told me that he's a pugilist.
Okay.
Was he the one?
He's a big fan and wants to participate.
He's the one who, was it him or Phillips that wanted to fight Jem Stern?
It was him. He challenged Jem. He wanted to challenge Jem Stern, and
so that's his workout.
It was Victorino who told him don't do that.
Yeah.
Who refused to raise the stakes to set it up.
You into a bloody pulp.
That's still interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Like Caldwell is really more of a fan who enjoys the sport. I mean, think about what would happen if a guy who takes boxing lessons took on a professional fighter.
Yeah. Right. It'd be bad.
Because that's what was about to happen. Which is why Victorino wasn't going to let it happen if he could stop it. Because it was going to end very, very badly. That would not be boxing. That would have been an assault. And a moment later, Mr. Caldwell will join you in the study. He looks good for a man. He's probably close to 40, but he's in pretty good damn shape. Like, this is clearly a man who exercises a lot. He looks the lot of you over. Says, "Wait, I know you. I do. Some of you, anyway." Mr. Baker, right? Is it Baker?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. Pleasure. I didn't know who your friends were, but when they said that you were to call to discuss the sport, I certainly wouldn't have turned that down.
How could you say no?
Precisely. Harriet, my dear. He leans out the door. There's the woman again, the same one you saw before. Would you please grab the tray? And she will come back in with a pitcher of some odd-smelling drink. This, my friends, is something I really encourage you to try.
Oh, no. This energy drink.
The natives call it yerba mata. It's processed in South America. One brews it as a tea, and it is excellent for the nerves and digestion.
As a medical man, have I heard anything about this?
An education role would help you there.
Alrighty.
You might have.
Ooh, that's right. I'm not greatly educated. No, 96. That is not a crit fail, but it is a fail.
If it's South American,
I haven't really studied
keep off on stuff that's imported.
Yeah, I'm
so never heard of it. Could be a fad. Could be things. Yeah, if it didn't come from Paris, you're probably not up on it. And he claims it comes from South America.
Oh, well, that sounds exotic. I would love to try some.
Oh, I'll wait to see what happens to Illingsworth.
Yeah, it's apparently brewed as a tea. And if you try some, the taste is unusual. You may or may not like it. I leave that up to you. It's actually, have you heard of yerba mate is actually a thing.
Yeah.
Like you can buy it in cans as energy drink.
Oh, okay, okay. I
Yeah,
have
no,
no
it's a real
idea
thing.
what it is at all. So
Yeah. Point is that for your characters, it's a weirdly kind of bittersweet flavor. You may or may not. I leave it up to you whether you actually like it,
I
but
think
it's
he's gonna like
definitely
it. I don't think things in this time period are like sweet like us Americans know things to be sweet.
yeah.
Just
Like
losing yerba mate brewed.
And while there is a container of sugar,
Caffeine.
you'll notice that Coldwell does not take any of the sugar himself. It's there if
okay,
you want it,
okay,
but he takes his with no sugar, no honey, no nothing. He just straight tea. So
okay,
if you like this sort of thing, it's it's an interesting flavor.
yeah. Oh, that is
He
quite
will.
exotic, isn't it?
Oh, it's absolutely lovely. He'll explain how he has it imported from South America. He has an agent there who buys it. How
And then
he
this is a plant. It's like tea.
Yes, it's very much so. It's the locals raise it as plant, and as you can see, it's brewed as a tea. You can sugar it, although I do not recommend doing so.
Okay.
I personally think the taste is divine in and of itself, but a number of people I've known have decided that they find it too bitter, and so prefer more sweetness from sugar.
But the
So
the bitterness gives it its distinctness. Yeah, or yeah, makes it distinct, does it not?
I think so personally. But then again, taste is taste what it is. So this will go in, small
So
talk and whatnot. But
when do my
basically,
I'm
hallucinations start? Oh
oh,
no.
they don't.
Mr.
Okay.
Coldwell.
Yeah,
Did
although it will, it is in fact, it's today yerba mate is marketed as an energy drink.
Yeah, it's got a lot of
So
caffeine in it.
for someone who's never had that much caffeine at one time, you may
Oh
actually start to feel a little like sweat, a little heart racy.
Well,
yeah,
tea
he
does the
probably
same,
gets a
has the
little
same
bitter.
thing, doesn't it?
I
This has much more caffeine than
Okay.
English tea.
yeah.
So it's especially if you drink it like English tea, where you drink like a full cup and then another one. Because it's the difference between it's has got as far as I remember, it has as much more caffeine as tea does than coffee. Same thing with like coffee. Like if you're
Okay.
used to drinking tea and then you switch to coffee, you're going to get more caffeine per cup.
Okay.
Right.
So until you get used to it, you're going to be taking in more caffeine than you thought you did. In other words, there's no harm in it. You just you may feel a little.
I felt like I drank a lot of tea.
Yeah.
Like
Real fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Like, woo!
Because it
You
is
were
highly
bouncing off.
caffeinated.
Freaking okay, Illingsworth's going to start bouncing off the walls here any minute.
But eventually, you will, of course, get around to why you came.
Mr. Coldwell, did you go to Cambridge?
I did, yes.
Did you know a Dr. Wibble?
I did attend his medical lectures.
Yes. We recently spoke to a relative of his. He is apparently deceased, and the solicitors were looking for your address to send you an invitation or notice of a reading of his will that apparently you are a part of. So
Why would?
we took it upon ourselves to seek you out to try to help them.
Huh? Well, that's unusual.
Yes, may
I mean,
I
I
give
didn't
them...
know the men that well.
Anything unusual happen around Dr. Wibble with you ever? Do you remember?
Well, come to think of it, I don't think it counts as particularly unusual, but
Well,
the I first actually encountered yerba mate when discussing medical matters with Dr. Wibble. He had a broad interest in medicinals found in different parts of the planet, and mentioned that he had heard of people in Colombia and that area who drank the stuff. The same individuals who also used coca leaves for stimulation
oh,
and had
yes.
imported both of these things. It's what got me thinking about it, and it's entirely likely that I first tried this drink in his presence.
Oh. What did you graduate from Cambridge?
No,
I see.
I left after the first year.
Ah, yes, well.
It was a nice thought, and Father would have probably preferred that I stayed long enough to take a degree, but to be honest, it wasn't for me.
Ah, I see. Well, do you mind if we give your address to the solicitors, or I could give you the solicitor's address if you wish to contact them yourself?
Oh, no, by all means, please do so, in both cases. I
Okay.
can't imagine why Dr. Whipple remembered me, other than perhaps I was the only one at Cambridge who liked the stuff.
I have no idea.
I
I'm
kind of want
gonna.
to do.
Well, I
kind of
see
want to
some
do
of
a
you don't seem to
psychology
fancy
check
the
on
flavor.
his. I
Say
kind of
that-
want to do. Yeah, I kind of want to do a psychology check
Go ahead, roll.
on his comment on.
Yeah, what he said was that some of you don't seem to fancy the flavor. I said
know.
some of you don't seem to be enjoying the yerba mate
I didn't
tea.
take any. I politely declined. I didn't know what it was,
failed.
so.
Yes,
I failed my psychology though, so I don't have any.
So hard to get any good read on this man in that sense.
My guy
In your case, it's
very
probably because
trusting
you're listening to your own heart palpitate a little.
Yeah, I'm watching him sweat, and I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I passed on that stuff.
Yeah.
If do you have
sweat.
paper and a pen? I'll jot down their address, and then I will inform them of yours as well.
He'll get some from a roll top desk in the study.
Yeah, I just write down the name of the firm and the address, and let him know that I'll give them word or that I'll pass on his address to them. Do you know Mr. Phillips? Vincent Phillips.
Phillips.
He apparently went to Cambridge as well, as far as I can tell. Perhaps.
You know, the name is familiar, but I can't recall where. I may have crossed paths with him in Cambridge, yes.
Yes,
there were a lot of men in those days, of course.
Of course.
I can't seem to remember all of them, and in all fairness, there was a great deal of alcohol and laudanum involved.
Ah, yes, of course. It's university.
Yes.
And then I will mention that Mr. Baker fought Mr. Mr. Victorino. It lasted 2 rounds.
Mr. Victorino, I have at present no fine regard for. He does not think much of my skills in the ring. And I should like to challenge myself to a real opponent ere I get too old.
Ah. So you're a pugilist?
No matter what people say, it is a most manly art. And I tell you, in some parts of this town, a gentleman is well advised to be prepared to defend himself.
I nod in agreement to that.
Yeah, as do I.
Thus, the art is both useful in terms of confidence and in terms of walkabout. Not to mention, there are occasions, of which of course I can provide no details, where some fellow, overstepping his bounds, said something in the presence of a lady that could not go unanswered.
Oh, could I ask when you were at Cambridge?
Oh my, it was...
If you recall. It's just my own curiosity.
It must be more than a decade now. Maybe 2.
If he's 40, it's probably quite a bit.
It's got to be
at least 20 years. Yeah.
It must be 20 years or more now.
Ah, yes, I believe you were probably there before I was.
Likely, yes.
All right.
It all sort of, blends together.
Does he seem like a druggie? Is he probably still doing a lot of laudanum and opium and all those goodies to me?
Hard to tell.
Well, he looks
in
amazing
sober
shape,
present.
right? Like,
yeah.
Physically, he doesn't look like somebody who is an opium addict.
Well, you could be an opium addict and also a workout fiend.
Okay.
You can be both of those things. In his case, he's currently definitely sober. Whether he's going to go get high tonight is a different issue.
Okay.
I mean, that's a thing people tend to forget. Like I knew a guy, for instance, he's gone now, who was a stockbroker, handled millions of dollars of accounts. He was also a full-fledged alcoholic.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He would come home from work
Well, I'm saying
and he would start drinking until he became unconscious.
as a medical man,
He did that 7 nights a week.
but as a medical man, sometimes there are signs that you're an addict. You know, hands
Yeah.
shaking a little or something like that. But he's not showing any signs that he is like an addict. Okay.
Yeah, no, none of those.
Okay.
So
Just
if
curious.
he gets high, he's doing it privately,
And
he's sober
probably
when he wakes up
in
in the morning.
somewhat moderation. He's not just like blasting himself every night.
Yeah, because that's what this guy would do. He would literally drink himself unconscious
Right.
7 nights a week. He'd wake up sober, go to work, and then as soon as he was done with work, he would begin drinking.
That's
He's dead. He's dead now.
yeah. That's scary.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he never admitted that he was an alcoholic. He never wanted to think of himself as an addict. But that's how he lived. He literally did nothing but consume alcohol when he left work.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I've got for Coldwell.
So as for the letter, he hasn't received one yet. Are you going to show him yours?
Ooh, I probably didn't bring it. There was no reason. Would I have brought it? Could I have brought it?
If you want.
Yeah, and yeah, I'll show him my letter. I could have. I'll keep it on me. I'll tell him that's the letter I received. I assume his is probably somewhat similar. If he has any strange writing,
remember he hasn't gotten one.
No,
yet
I know, but I said
his
his will probably be somewhat similar. If there's any strange, do you see those pictures on the bottom?
I do.
If I don't, we've tried to translate them. Very strange. If you have something like that, could you let me know?
Naturally.
I'd be just curious as to if yours are the exact same, or if it's some kind of a different message, or it's Egyptian hieroglyphics. Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Baker here translated it for me. They did an exemplary job, from my understanding.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Doctor.
So this is writing?
Egyptian hieroglyphics. Each. Well, go ahead, Edgeworth. You could explain it better than I can. I don't really understand it myself.
It's a pictographic language system that essentially each of the illustrations you see before you is attached to concepts, words, and noises.
It is not
really
an
fascinating language.
that we are.
That sounds it. Now this is, you say was the letter sent from Dr. Wibble's estate?
Yes, that I received that when we visited the solicitors for young Wibble, his nephew.
Because as I recall, I've seen these images, a few of them somewhere.
Do you remember where?
Wibble had a book with them in his office.
Oh.
I don't remember the title. Oedipus something or other.
Oedipus? Like
Oedipus.
Oedipus Rex?
Yes.
Like the Greek?
Yeah, yes. It was Oedipus something or other. But
Oedipus something.
he opened it once or twice, and I recall seeing pictures like this in it.
Oh. Interesting.
It was quite the book. I mean, the thing was, you could honestly brain a man with it.
Oh. So, like, thick and big as well?
Quite, yeah. I mean, as much a weapon as a book, to be honest.
Oh. Well, if you have some of those pictograms, I would like to know what they mean.
Well,
I would be very curious. I could ask Mr. Edgeworth and Mr. Baker here. They're quite well educated.
If I receive such a letter, I will, let you know happily.
Oh yes.
But I do remember. I remember Dr. Wibble had such a book in his office.
Interesting. Do I know where Wibble's office was when I was there?
It was in Monmouth Hall.
And I kind of have an idea where his office probably is. Okay.
Well, but where it was, whether someone else is using it now is a different issue.
Do they have names
Did they
on the
clean out his
offices?
office yet?
Was his name on it?
No.
It was just
you would know. You know where his office was when you were a student.
Right.
If it's still there, you can find it.
Okay.
Unless of course someone has cleaned it out.
Right.
Since.
Well, yeah, but when they were in their offices, did they have their names on the doors or just blank doors? And okay.
Yeah. No.
You had to know where it was.
Rooms generally numbering rooms is more a modern thing.
Okay.
So a lot of rooms were not, or were given names instead.
Interesting. Okay.
Actually, those of you who have done any of the earlier reading in Egyptology or read Thornhill's Guide can make a library useful.
That's Edgeworth and Baker. They're the ones who are doing all the Egyptology right now.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
That is a 7.
nice.
Okay.
What kind of success?
So-
Reese, that is a extreme success.
Yep. Which means you know exactly what he's talking about.
He knows the book. Excellent.
Yeah. The book is the Oedipus Aegypticus.
Oh,
It's
that
the
makes
work of
sense.
Athanasius Kircher, published 1654.
Wait, what was the name of the author?
Kircher. Athanasius Kircher.
Is this a real book?
Yeah. Actually.
Kircher. Okay, I should be able to find out the spellings then. Sorry, go ahead.
Kircher is how he spells his last name. Athanasius.
Cher.
It is arguably the first genuine work of scholarship on Egyptology. By the way, in the modern world, it's regarded as very out of date and a lot of wrong. But it was one of possibly the first text in which a Western scholar attempted to read and translate the hieroglyphs.
Okay.
That's the book he's referring to.
Do you tell us any of this, Edgeworth, or not at this juncture with this guy?
I'll hold off.
That sounds good. Make sure that he does have my card and has my address.
Yep.
And then, is Illingsworth gulping down more of that weird crap?
No, I'll just
Caffeine
have a cup of it or whatever. like I said, no one else was going to have some. Oh, like, I think I have my guy as
all right, so we can make some more small talk and then we can head out.
Yeah. By the way, for those with that extreme success, the Oedipus is originally in Latin.
Oh.
And if you're curious, the proper title is Oedipus Aegypticus hoc est universalis hieroglyphicae veterum doctrinae temporum inuria abolitiae instaurato.
Oh my God, damn it, Kevin.
That's the proper text.
Can you spell that for me, please?
No, I cannot.
Well, I got it on the recording. I'll try to find it.
I can't even
Would
try.
you copy and paste it into a chat? I could copy and paste.
Okay.
Well, if you want to see the
it's a real book, so I should be able to find some of that.
Well, here, what I can do is this is the actual gaming text. This is actually the link to the Wikipedia page on it.
Oh, that's perfect. Yes, can you put that? Yeah, in gaming text. That helps me a lot.
I just did.
That helps me so much for the role-playing journal.
The correct title.
If you ever have those and you can throw them my way, especially for like ancient text names or ancient people's names, that'd be super helpful for the role-playing journal because sometimes I'm guessing and I'm doing a lot of research just to figure out if I can find out this is a real book.
That's what he's talking about. We will have a copy of that in his office. Which means Wibble was studying hieroglyphs.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to suggest when we leave...
That book is expensive, hard to come by, and not worth it unless you're interested in hieroglyphics.
So once we leave, I'm going to...
And of course, Wibble understood Latin, so do you. Remember, medical education, much of it was still in Latin.
Yeah, I've got Latin at a
So while lectures are no longer...
Connor does too.
Yeah. Lectures are generally no longer in Latin.
You're better at Latin than me. I just learned enough to get through medical school. So after we leave, I'm going to have the carriage take us to the solicitors.
Okay.
I will hand over... He probably gave us a card or something that I can give to them specifically with his address.
Yep, which will make their lives easier.
Yeah, why not? We're doing their job for them. Getting paid nothing. And ask if they've had any luck with Mr. Phillips, finding Mr. Phillips.
Let us...
Out of curiosity, and I know they can't tell us, but...
They have.
They have found Mr. Phillips.
They have, in fact, located Mr. Phillips.
Could they tell me his address? Or is that breaking some
They
rule?
can write to him and ask if he is willing to share that information.
Sure. I will hand another card and ask them to send that card to him.
Yep.
If possible. I tell them that I have written... No, I wouldn't tell them that. Yeah, that's all we got for them. at present, unless
Okay.
they have any news about the circumstances, perhaps, of Professor Whipple's death.
They have not heard anything additional.
Has his partner come back from Cambridge? I
Uh,
ask as if I'm just
still,
curious.
still no.
Interesting. Do you expect him?
And he was expected before the
Yeah.
weekend, so he's now 2 days overdue, 3 days overdue. So they're not sure.
Who
They have
went?
sent
Herbert
a.
went, didn't
They've
he?
sent. All
I'm
right.
trying to remember who we talked to. Herbert. Yes, Mr. Bartholomew went because I've not met him. He's marked as unmet.
Yep.
Mr. Herbert's the one who I've been talking with, and his
Yeah.
clerk, Mr. Levy or Levy. Um, don't you think that's odd, Mr. Herbert?
It is
Do you think he's run into any trouble?
possibly.
Oh dear. Well, I hope he's all right. I'm very
Uh,
concerned for the man now. I feel like I almost know
as
him, having met you.
as am I. I actually dispatched a letter yesterday, but of course I'm not expected to hear
Of
for another
course.
day or two.
Yes. Well, if you hear from him, could you let me know? I mean, I
Be
feel
happy
like
to
I
do
know
so.
the man. Thank you.
Be very happy to do so.
That's very polite and very kind. Very kind. Thank you, Mr. Herbert. And if you need anything else from me, um, you found Mr.
Philip.
Yes,
Phillips, so I don't
we
have to
have
look
written to
anymore.
Mr. Phillip. Yeah,
Very
so
good.
that
And
matter is in hand.
thank you.
I am at liberty to tell you that Mr. O'Brien stopped by
Oh yes.
yesterday. He was curious as to why he was among those selected. Of course, I couldn't really answer that for him. He also asked about the pictogram writing on the letter,
Oh yes. I had some
and
of
I
that as well.
couldn't answer that matter for him either. So I had nothing to say to him, really, as disappointing as it was.
Oh yes. This is all quite strange.
I couldn't even tell him, well, I had nothing that I could tell him that he was wished to know.
Of course. Did you tell him my name?
I did not know.
Oh, very well. Well, I've sent letters to my classmates as well. So if they come around questioning, you're free to give them my address. And
Well, he did ask about you. You can. I'm not sure of the propriety of this, but
oh, just
Mr.
between us.
Precisely, Mr. O'Brien lives at number 4 Booth Lane.
Oh yes, I have his address.
Ah,
I provided it to
and
you. Remember?
given what he was asking, I suspect that he would probably welcome a call from you.
Oh, number 4 Booth.
Hmm.
Okay, number 4 Booth Lane. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Herbert. You're quite the gentleman. I shake his hand. Very, very, very.
Okay.
Will you be at the reading
Fervently. No.
of the will? Or
Well,
I expect
Mr.
Mr.
Bartholomew was originally intending to do so. So it's possible that he simply just chose to remain in Cambridge for that purpose.
For 3 weeks. Well, 4 weeks
It,
now. That seems
it does create
excessive.
it does create a bit of an issue down here, but
I'm terribly sorry.
that's what he chose. If he had, though, I wish he would write me
This.
and inform me, as I've been assuming that he would be returning before that time, and then we would make arrangements as were necessary.
Well, I hope he's all right.
Of course. And if I learn anything, I'll happily forward that to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I worry for him and for you too. If something's happened
Naturally.
to him, hopefully it's. Well, I would have no idea what it could be.
Mm.
Oh crap! No, I don't have any idea what it could be, but I'm pretty certain it's bad.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take our leave unless anyone else wants to chat with this fellow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, did everybody
And
come
do
in
you
to me
actually?
to the solicitors with me, or did I go in alone? By the way,
I guess I kind of assumed we were all going in together.
I kind of assumed that too, but I don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter either way. So, did y'all all come in with me?
Yeah, and that's fine.
Is that cool?
Remember,
I
people
would
don't
have.
always. People rarely travel
Say,
alone.
I would have.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Good. That's
So
right.
the
So they
idea of
know
several
all that
people
I've just
together.
discussed. I
Yeah.
don't have to relate it to them again.
Yeah. Do you want to visit Declan O'Brien?
Yes, I want to head for Booth Street if the others are all right with it. What time is it?
At this
How?
point, about 4 p.m.
Oh, damn. All
Plenty
right.
of time.
How far is
plenty of
Booth
time.
Street?
You can get there in about 10 minutes walk.
We're on we have a carriage. We've been
Or
driving around.
in a carriage, it'll take you honestly about the same time between
Yeah.
having to dodge other
All
traffic.
right.
In other words, at distances like this, you don't save much. It's just more riding in a carriage doesn't save much time. It's just more comfortable.
Yeah, it allows us to discuss as well on the way.
Yeah, gives you
And,
privacy. You don't have to walk everywhere. It's much nicer, but honestly, you don't save a whole lot of time.
Does Edgeworth?
Keep your shoes clean.
Do you
your
relate
shoes
to us
clean.
about this Oedipus Egyptus while we're riding?
Yes,
Okay.
I give it a full account of my understanding of the text. Would I have ever encountered it? Like a copy?
The reason you are so familiar with it, with that critical success on the library use roll, is because your club has a copy.
I was about to ask. That's what I ask him. When he says this, I'm like, does
There we
Mountbatten
go.
have a copy? And
Yes,
We
it
have
does.
a copy back at the club, actually, gentlemen. I have
Interesting.
spent many an hour
Yep.
making my way through that particular tome.
wait, could that have a different
why you know it so
translation?
well.
I'm going to pull out the letter. Could that give a different translation from this? Or do you think it is the same as the Thornhill translation?
Kevin, sorry, just a question. Is, what year is it again? Remind me?
1811.
1811.
It would be important. It would be a good idea to compare and contrast.
Might need this to talk to O'Brien, but then I'm going to give it back to you once we're done there.
Absolutely.
Yes, I think it might be good. You told us that this translation is old. Kevin, this is from the 16th century?
Yeah.
The original?
Uh,
So,
The
do we
Thornhill-
know
the
that
Thornhill
they're...
translation is probably better.
The Thornhill
It is more
translation is newer.
modern.
Do we have any idea that the translations might be different? Do I have any idea of that?
It might well be, but that's the point. Is that
Okay.
the Oedipus is generally more fanciful. Like, to put in perspective, just to give you what Wikipedia does. Like, for instance, in Wikipedia, it just gives you right here. Kirchner's renditions of hieroglyphs tend to be wordy and portentous. He translated the Egyptian Didir Vasir, Osiris says, as the treachery of Typhon ends at the throne of Isis. The moisture of nature is guarded by the vigilance of Anubis. When what the text actually reads is Osiris says.
So this message, if it's translated by that, could
probably
be
gonna come out
a
a lot-
lot different.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I would like you to retranslate this on a separate sheet of paper, probably, because this letter's probably getting pretty full. All right, let's go to
The
O'Brien's
point
and
is
see what
that-
he's
that-
got.
Thornhill's work is more modern and makes use of more recently available resources like the Rosetta
The
Stone.
Rosetta Stone, yeah. So
which
yeah.
Kirchner did not have access to.
But if Wibble was using the other, then it's that translation that we really want.
Now
Exactly.
that is important because this is the book Wibble was using, which means
We
if
think.
Wibble wrote these hieroglyphs,
What's the publication date on Thornhill? Was there?
it 4 years ago, 1807?
Okay, and that's okay. Okay, that's real recent.
That's
Okay,
current.
that's super recent. Okay,
Notice the author is still alive and well, and threatened to cut somebody's head off once.
let's send him after the undead Wibble. Let's go see Mr. O'Brien.
Okay.
We used to call him Irish O'Brien.
Yeah, he didn't.
What was his nickname? Did he have a nickname? We called him Pat. He hated it. I remember that.
Not that you were aware of.
Okay.
Now, Declan O'Brien is easy to find
Called him Decky.
because his apartment at Booth Street is also his office.
Oh, is it a medical office?
It is.
Nice.
So he is operating a medical practice out of his office.
Okay.
So he's got a little sign. He's got a consulting room on the first floor and an apartment above it.
And we could just go into the office. We don't have to knock or anything, right?
The consulting room is intended for public access.
Gotcha. Let's go.
And when you come in, you will find him sitting in the examination chair reading a magazine, which is to say he currently has no clients.
Perfect. Declan O'Brien.
And looks up at you.
How many years has it been?
Fletcher Payne.
I go and
Sweet saints,
I,
you're alive.
I grasp his hand. I'm a yes.
Mhm.
Shouldn't I be?
I. You clearly had better luck at marriage than I.
Oh, my dear friend, we can help you with that. As I'm giving him a
Yeah.
firm
Please,
handshake
please come
and
in.
patting him on the shoulder.
And who are your friends?
I'm sorry, Connor Edgeworth. He's a scholar. Thomas Baker,
Pleasure.
also a scholar of languages, and Edgar Illingsworth. He's a hunter.
This is the company you keep these days.
Oh yes, we're all part of Mountbatten Club and
Ah, so I've heard.
friends. And
Now
how are
that,
you?
I admit, is a club that I would have been pleased to join.
Well, why haven't you? Oh, yes. Some people can be so unkind about such silly things.
Indeed. Anyway, please come in. There's got to be sherry around here somewhere.
Oh, that would be
And what he'll do is
lovely.
he'll invite you to go through the consultation room. He'll
Mhm.
actually lock the door of the consultation room to the outside. So,
Do you have some
basically
time?
closed for business.
Okay.
And into a dining room slash study slash library, which occupies most of the rest of the first floor.
Okay.
Whereupon he will hunt for what he's looking for, which is a bottle of sherry he's apparently been saving for an occasion.
This is it.
Find some glasses and pour it out.
Small talk, small talk, small talk.
Yeah.
Uh, I
Turns
want to.
out that
I want to get so
business
that.
has,
Sorry.
it
Go
turns
ahead.
out business has been rough.
Oh no.
His practice is not doing very well, and apparently he had a very bad time of his first marriage
Oh
and
no.
is now divorced.
He's divorced. That's a big old reputation hit right there, right?
Between being
Divorce.
Irish and being divorced,
Oh no.
his reputation is in the shitter, and that has a lot to do with his business being
I am
poor.
going to. Okay, this guy's going to become my new best friend because I got to help
So
him.
he's had a rough go of it for the last couple of years.
He graduated around me. I can't recall
Yeah,
exactly. So we knew each other pretty well in
yeah.
school.
He graduated the year after
Yeah,
you
because
did.
I've still been in contact with him. I lost a lot of ties with people because of
Yeah.
how busy I've been, especially this
And
past
so
year.
you knew he had a business here. You didn't
Yes.
realize how poorly his business was doing.
Well, Declan,
You'd heard that he'd gotten married. You did not know that he had since been divorced.
well, I wish to discuss this more with you. But first, I wish to discuss this, and I'm going to pull out.
Oh, and by the way, it's
Obviously,
also worth pointing out
yeah.
that divorce also might have had a lot to do with him, with some issues with him kind of getting kicked out of his church.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
it's
mentions
been.
this too. He got kicked out of his church. What kind of a church was he? Is
He
he
was raised
Catholic?
Catholic.
Yeah.
He was raised
Okay.
Catholic, so he's had to
Oh
also quit
no.
the church.
Oh,
So he's become an Anglican, but he
he doesn't like
doesn't
it.
love it either.
All right. Um, so the
Yeah,
for the small talk is I'll be inviting him to come to church with him, and and come to dinner tomorrow night. Blah 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 blah. Small
yeah.
talk. One thing about my letter is I've completely removed that seal, and
Okay,
Connor has that now.
okay.
You know what I mean? Like that,
Gotcha.
he's got that seal in case he wants to
So
further
it's in two
study it.
separate locations. Yep.
So, yeah. It's just a seal on the letter, but I've still got the letter, and for now, and I'm gonna show him my letter, and
Okay.
so he can see the translation that we've made, and I'm going to tell him that it's likely an inaccurate translation. But what but you received a letter as well. Did you know Dr. Wibble very well?
I took several lectures with him,
Yeah, as did I.
and I did help him. Well, I served as his assistant for about 2 years, actually.
Oh, that's much closer than I was to him. I took several classes with him, and of course, we did
Well,
many not vivisections, dissections, and the like together.
I did a number of those, with
Yes,
him,
yes.
but also it's really not something I love to discuss. But Fletcher, my friend, your family paid your way through, did they not?
Oh yes. Well, we were very, very tight in the money. I did work as well when when I was there at school, but
As
my
as did
marriage helped.
I.
Oh, you could speak freely. These gentlemen are very trustworthy. I would trust them with my life, and have actually just a short while ago.
Well, that's as well then. I worked for Dr. Whibble in those 2 years.
Oh, so
What did you do for Dr. Whipple?
I was
getting
his assistant. I
corpses and
helped procure cadavers for dissection. I handled cleanup afterwards.
Mm,
I was also responsible sometimes for bringing him things like meals. In so many words, I may as well have been his servant. He
yes, what?
trusted none other.
Oh,
He had no. The school's staff attended to him when they could, but she didn't employ a personal servant. Thus, that was my role for those 2 years. And I suspect I was not the first nor the last.
Declan, did anything odd, unusual happen around? Were you around Doctor Whibble?
You knew the man. He was a
Oh,
maniac.
well, yes, yes, but I mean anything that you couldn't explain.
Oh, there was a great deal I did not seek to explain. You knew his predilections,
Did I? What were his predilections?
or
Oh,
perhaps you didn't.
that whole reviving the dead thing. Wasn't that one of his predilections, Kevin? I thought it
There
was.
was, there was perhaps. You'll forgive me, my friend, if I sound mad, but there
Join.
was perhaps something to it.
Mm. What makes you say that? This guy's a doctor. If he does a psychology on me, he might be picking up some weird vibes right now too. So keep that in mind, Kevin.
There was a woman.
Hmm.
She had drowned. Now, I had occasion to visit Paris to go to the morgue there. I don't know if you've ever had the distinct pleasure.
Have I?
Probably not. What
I
he's
just
talking
shake my
about is
head.
a building they call the morgue.
I
It is where officially the reason it exists is to identify the unidentified dead. In other words, it has a cold room where the water
oh.
drips, and they lay out bodies on slabs, and people are permitted to come in and view them. Officially, this is the idea that if we don't know who this person is, maybe people will come through and someone will identify the dead. You will
Hmm.
know who they
Hmm.
were. Realistically, it's a tourist attraction. People come to gawk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also,
Well.
I found out something I did not know the other day. The one of the women who was displayed there, the so-called unknown of the song, her face is the model for the resuscitation doll.
For Annie.
Yeah, her face is that Resusci Annie is modeled on a particularly famous case from the morgue.
Was it a drowning or
Yeah,
someone that? Okay.
yeah, it was a woman who drowned.
Huh. That's interesting.
I found that out the other day.
But my character's never been to France. Well, never been to.
Yeah,
Well, maybe to Paris, but it was probably on a trip.
and didn't get a chance to see that. Also, it was
probably
probably before
Not
the
the
morgue
morgue.
only
Never
opened.
went to the
It
morgue.
only opened in 1804.
Okay.
So it also you might have been in Paris before
It
that
was.
was a thing.
Yeah.
Whereas he's been there apparently in the last 7, 8 years.
Yes. Go on.
And the reason I bring it up is that it's because it was such a woman. She had drowned, and we brought her into Monmouth Hall, and Dr. Whibble was convinced that this drowning was no accident, or so he said, and therefore determined to investigate further to see if she had been the subject of further violence. This is what he said.
Hmm.
And yet, I did not see what he did. I helped him with the first part to see if there were ligatures on her throat.
Bruises and
Precisely.
such.
And we found damage and bruising to the left arm,
Hmm.
consistent with the possibility that she was pushed into the water. Now, I went to get a notebook, and I was gone several minutes' time, and I heard from a distance what sounded like a voice. It sounded I cannot reproduce the sound correctly.
Yes.
But it made such an eerie sound that it froze my very blood. I recall I dropped the notebook. And when I recovered myself, I rushed into the theater to see if Dr. Whibble needed my assistance. But he did not. Does that count as unusual?
Yes.
Or am I simply
I would say so, yes.
misremembering? Perhaps it was the pipes in the building whining, or wind outside the door.
Do you think it was?
I could not say. I wish it was. Yes. But I recall the way it caught me and the way it drove that chill in my body that I wanted it to be something other than what I feared.
Which was a woman wheezing.
As if she was extracting water from her lungs.
Yes, certain strange things happened when I was around Dr. Whibble as well, a little more extreme than this. But you had some questions about the hieroglyphs, didn't you? The lawyer told me, the solicitor.
Do you know what they mean?
Do you have more sherry?
I do.
I hate to seem rude, but could you fill my glass, please, again?
Not at all, not at all.
Okay.
I've been saving it for the occasion.
Oh,
this I suppose
nice.
we'll have to do.
I down like half the glass with my next gulp. Bracing. Thank you.
Mostly my question involved why these pictograms and whether they meant anything to anyone.
Oh yes, I pull mine out and show him. I think I already did.
I know that you did. I think.
Okay. Yeah.
I know that he had a book of such things in his office.
Yes. Are they the same as this?
And if you compare them, the message appears to be the same.
It does appear to be the same. Yeah. All right.
Yes, the same message on both letters. He had a book. He had tools with those pictograms on them as well.
What kind of tools? Like medical tools?
I thought they were, yes.
What was it? A saw or some kind of maybe a hammer and chisel or a rib spreader?
No.
Do they have rib spreaders yet?
Yeah. No, okay. It was more. They were of a fashion surgical tools.
Yeah. Scalpels?
One such, although not as precise as a modern one, it seemed. And a device that resembled a candle snuffer above and beyond all else, whose purpose I could not guess.
I look at Edgeworth. He's our occultist, as far as I know. Maybe Baker is. I look at the two of them.
Would Graham suspect something, but could Edgeworth make an occultism roll to gather the potential use of those implements in respect to Egyptian burial rites?
No need to roll. If you've thought of it, you probably thought of it. Because you've already hit a couple of things on Egyptology. Like, if he's describing them as surgical instruments, if they're not as precise as modern ones, it's because they're for use on the dead, not the living.
Okay.
In other words, surgical instruments where you're not worried about causing pain because the subject of your surgery is, dead.
Can I make a psychology check on Edgeworth when I see recognition come across his face?
If you wish.
Or do I just notice it? This will see if I notice it. 20, yeah. So I noticed that. I'm not going to say anything, but at least I'm not completely in the dark. Edgeworth will tell me.
Good bet. That's what he's describing. Is tools that would be used for making mummies.
Are these the tools for extracting?
You don't know the process of it, but you're pretty certain that those are the kind of tools you would use.
Do we know? Does Edgeworth know anything about the fact that they extract a lot of organs, like through the sinus cavities and shit like that?
Yeah, and that may be what he's describing. You would need to see them to be certain of that.
Okay.
Right now, that's the assumption.
How odd.
But remember, that assumption is based on his description of them. You can't confirm that until you
Right,
actually
not
see
unless
them.
they're still there somewhere. Here's the translation that Mr. Edgeworth here has made, but we think that we might be able to gain access to a book similar to what Dr. Wibble used, which might give us a different translation, as this is a newer. Edgeworth can explain it better than I. It's a newer
Well,
translation, and he
do you
had an old
suppose
one
they've
or something.
cleared out his office?
I beg your pardon.
Do you suppose they've cleared out his office?
I don't know. Perhaps we should get down
To
there.
move so quickly.
Declan, this
The,
have you heard about how Dr. Wibble died? Or when he died? Or where he died?
the first I heard of it was when I received the lawyer's letter.
Yes, I gave them your address. I hope that was quite all
Oh, well,
right.
thank you.
I sent you a
No, no,
letter. It
quite.
probably arrived after that one did.
It did. The following day, actually.
Yes.
So I had the news backward, as it were.
Ah. As I kind of hold out my empty sherry glass again. Yes.
Fill it again.
Thank you so much. Oh, you're so kind. Yes. Declan, I must be completely honest with you. I saw something strange with Dr. Wibble as well. I, I, I could never explain it. It was quite disturbing, actually. Seeing as you've got the same hieroglyphics that I have, he seemed to be sending an individual message to us. Um, uh, I don't know if you'd like to hear it. It's quite disturbing.
I suspect that. I don't think there's anything you can say which will be as disturbing as that moment was.
All right. Okay. All right.
And I trust you will not endeavor too greatly to prove me wrong.
Not if you don't wish to hear it. It was.
No, please, go ahead.
Well, I'm sure I was
the
mistaken, but we were working on a cadaver. We were removing some internal organs. He was looking at. He was explaining how the liver was it was in bad shape. The heart had a lot of fattiness about it, even though the man seemed to be in good shape. When I take a sip of the sherry before I continue. When the man's eyes opened up and he started screaming, and Dr. Wibble took a tiny hammer and tapped the man on the head several times, very hard, until he stopped screaming. And then he told me that was the man is obviously dead, so that was some kind of a reaction of the nerves on the vocal cords. It Nothing I had ever read about in any medical
I've never heard
journal.
of such a thing.
No, I had never heard of such a thing either. And it was quite disturbing. There might be some danger at this reading of the will. I don't know what, but something seems very odd. One of the solicitors went up to Cambridge over almost 2 weeks ago and has not returned, and which is odd.
Are you going to attend?
I look at the gentleman around me, and then I look back to him, and I said, "Well, I feel somewhat obligated to attend, as if there is something happening that is unusual. It might be good to look into this, just in case
I
it is something."
could not agree with you more.
Oh, very well, Declan. Do you have any firearms?
Oh, heavens, no.
Oh, that's a shame. Do you know how to use any firearms? We hunt or anything?
I
Very
take
well.
the first oath seriously. Do no harm.
Yes, well, you don't hunt or.
No.
Oh no. Yes.
In
Well,
truth, I hardly even eat meat these days.
something odd is happening. Something strange is going on. Something strange happened a few weeks ago. Anyway, these gentlemen here are very helpful and good men. We're going to try to translate. Sorry, not we, obviously. Mr. Edgeworth here and Mr. Baker are going to try to translate using the this possibly the same document that Dr. Wibble used to create these strange hieroglyphs. I'll be more than happy to send you a copy of that translation. As you can see, we've already got a translation here because they've been writing all over that letter when they
Oh yeah,
translated it,
Hmm.
and so
yeah,
when I showed him the letter, he could see the translation.
yeah. I have a thought though in my own head.
Yes,
The instruments that I spoke of.
yes.
It seems to me that if they're still there, they should be recovered before that we might understand. I am inclined to leave early for Cambridge, and if Dr. Wibble's office is still in its original form,
Do
then
you remember?
such things might be found there.
Oh yes, you know where it is. His quarters. You know his quarters where they were as well. I was planning on leaving early as well. I hadn't discussed it with these gentlemen are going to accompany me. At least I've asked them to. Uh,
Hmm. Well, it seems that every day that remains is one more that someone at Monmouth House might clear the office.
it's true.
So it seems that this ought to be done sooner rather than later.
Yes, indeed.
I mean,
I. How soon could I leave, Kevin? Could I,
You could
like,
push appointments off and leave tomorrow if you wanted to. I mean, heck, you could push appointments off and leave tonight if you wanted
I
to.
got two letters
I
out
don't
to
think you
two
want
other
to tonight,
guys in
though.
town though. Right now that I haven't
Yeah,
heard back from yet. I got letters
this
of
is
the
true.
Wibble family.
Yep.
Okay.
You could also ask someone to forward them to
I'm
you.
going to. That's what I'm going to have to
They can
do because
follow
I
you.
think he's right. We need to find that book. Is it? Do I know? Is it possible that Edgeworth and Baker could borrow that book from Mountbatten for a few days? I know it's not a lending library, but could they get permission to
Yeah.
take that book for a few days
Um,
and
club members can sometimes borrow a book.
so they could try?
Yeah.
Okay.
try and
Either
translate
one
it
of
on
you,
our
long
way.
story short, a credit rating roll will be required to convince the club to allow you to borrow the
Let
book.
Baker do the talking. I think he's the
Yeah.
richest of us all. Um,
Hmm.
In other words, the sort of person who says, in other words, it is on you if you borrow it. The
well, yeah.
replacement cost is on you if something happens to it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
are on the hook for
Here,
its
Yeah.
value.
heaven forbid, this book will be in the exact same condition.
Yep,
Or he'll buy a
that's
new
the
one,
point.
and it won't even
Yeah,
touch his freaking money. Um, all right, if
that's hard to
Declan's
find
wanting
these
to
days,
go up,
honestly.
I'm willing to go up tomorrow. I've pretty much opened him up to all the weirdness that I feel I can tell him.
Okay.
I'm
Are
not going
you
to tell him
willing
about
to?
Duck Island
Are you
yet.
willing to allow him to join you? Because if you're
Oh
going to leave
yeah,
tomorrow,
yeah. I
if
feel
you've got
terrible.
a vehicle, he'll ride with you if you like.
I do. Yeah, I do have my carriage. We can take my carriage.
You do have you have a
Yeah,
carriage.
because the carriage is back. I'm gonna have to tell
Yep.
Rose. I'm hoping she's not gonna. Oh, she might want to come. Well, she can come if she wants. I think that
And
Cambridge might be.
you're gonna want to write to the other assorted people in your
Yes,
lives.
I'm gonna send more letters on to everybody I've written to
Okay.
so far and say please
So,
forward this
so that
here.
means the rest of tonight, basically, the rest of this afternoon and this evening is going to be preparations for leaving.
Yes, is that?
So
Wait,
Very good.
is that all right with you, gentlemen?
Yeah, I'm okay with
I
that.
All
I
right,
can.
all right. I hate to
It
not
sounds
ask.
so
like time is of the
Declan, we will
import.
pick you
Uh,
up tomorrow
yeah,
morning.
so he'll
Can
have
you
his
put
trunk
off your
packed.
appointments and such? I also
He doesn't
somehow
really
want to.
have any at the moment,
Oh man, I'm gonna.
but he could. So
we
he'll
do
have
help
his
this
trunk
man.
packed and ready in the morning.
Declan, I'm gonna shake his hand as we're leaving and say we need to talk about possible joint practice. I think that would be great. Uh, I think
It's a concept.
yes, it's never been done. Has it? I don't even know if doctors do
Oh, there have
that
been
in this.
partnerships. Oh, there have been
Okay, okay.
partnerships.
I talked
Yeah,
to
no,
him about that for just a moment. We can talk in the carriage ride. It'll take us 2 days to get there.
yeah.
So, and then make arrangements and find out if Rose wants to come.
So, long story short,
Yeah,
Rose does not want to make a trip to Cambridge
that's fine. I
and does not
apologized.
think that the children need to.
Good.
But the thing is that you've had to pursue emergency cases before. In other
Hmm.
words, she's a doctor's wife. She knows how this works. Where there have been occasions where you've had to get up in the middle of the night,
Right.
where you've had to travel to deal with an emergency. These are things that she's had to deal with because you're in a
Yes.
profession where people need your attention now, not business hours.
Well, I'm being honest with her about why I'm
Medical
going.
emergencies happen 24/7.
Okay. I'm being totally honest about why we're going. There's a will, there's a lot of strangeness about it, and we think we need to look further into it. The reading is not until for 2.5 weeks, blah, blah, blah. Oh, could I have also told Edgeworth to find out about Delacourt, find out if she wants the balloon going, and get her fucking brother to come with us.
Well,
tell
Louis
him to bring
guns. Louis is not coming to Cambridge.
Give him money.
Nothing there that's fun.
Give him money. He will come.
He's got money. Yeah, he's not.
Damn it.
She's
that's what I
suggest. Be able to travel on such short notice. She will see you when you get back.
Okay.
She is working up to the possibility of flying again.
The balloon's in my shed.
Wonderful.
I make sure my servants know that if she comes around and wants it, Toby, help her with that.
She's getting better about that. Like, she may be able to fly again at some point.
That's great to hear. I look forward to seeing you on wings.
Give her my love.
Excellent. And with that, then, you guys will make your way to Cambridge.
I'm bringing all my guns, too, by the way.
I'm bringing my rifle.
Yep.
Kevin, could I have gone every week and bought more shot and powder?
You can also buy some as you're packing up.
Yeah, we'll do that, too. I probably have a lot of gunpowder and a lot of bullets right now.
Yeah, resources are not an issue.
I don't want to buy it all at once and get in trouble, so every week I've been buying some more, every single week.
Well, see, that's the other thing is that, so the palace knows your name.
Okay.
Which means...
Good. I can buy as much as I want.
They do not think of you as a problem. And in other words, if somebody said, this guy bought 10 pounds of gunpowder, who is it? Oh, it's that guy? He's cool.
Yeah. You will forget that he bought that gunpowder. Oh.
That's the point.
Okay.
Is that you didn't get, there was no huge monetary reward.
No.
Because you are remaining silent, they will also.
Silent about what?
So there's these little, very quiet quid pro quo that happens like this.
Yeah. That's fine. That's Buckingham being polite, and that's kind. That's very kind. That one guy wasn't kind, and he's dead now, so... Wait, was that footman killed? We left the island. Did we find a body on the end of the dock that night? I'm just curious. I mean, it doesn't really matter one way or another.
No, I don't believe you... no, I do not.
He was rendered unconscious.
We heard a shot. No, we heard a shot.
Oh, that's right.
That came from the dock. Was he dead?
You know what? I'm going to make him a luck roll.
Or do you want me to make a medicine roll that we found him and I was able to save him?
Or make a medicine roll, because I got 52 for luck, which is maybe. So yeah, because he was shot. We don't know whether he died of that wound.
28 is a success. That's a that's a hard success. Even though I hated that guy for lying to my face, I patch him up, and then we go on our merry way with. And
because
we've got an ally in His Majesty's Secret Service.
As long as we keep our mouths shut and don't actually ask them for help.
Yeah. But the other thing is that you now have a palace yeoman who owes you personally.
But does he even know?
Does he know your name?
I don't. He was unconscious. He must have been knocked out, and I would have just fixed him up.
He probably doesn't remember.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so you never learned his name.
Nope.
Because he was not conscious.
He was injured. I tried to heal him since somebody kept me from healing that other guy by slitting his throat.
You may find out his name at some point, but you don't know it right now.
That's fine.
And if someone told him what happened, then he knows he owes you one.
He might.
Whether someone told him, we don't know.
If I found a dying man, I'm going to do my best to save him, unless I'm stopped. Yeah. Okay.
Because it was Reverend Brown who shot him.
So wait a minute. Did I have an appointment on Wednesday? I did.
At what time?
I can't read. At lunch, I was supposed to meet with Wibble.
So you're going to have to wait till after lunch.
Yeah. So it's going to be Friday afternoon before we can reach Cambridge.
Probably, yeah.
But the Wibble, do you want to real quick do the Wibble thing?
Yeah. So one more thing, because it's getting on toward 11. So you'll meet with Wibble for lunch on Wednesday. And long story short,
right. I just want to find out who his relatives or friends are in Giles on the out of the fields or whatever it is.
Yeah. He has a sister who came to London 2 years before him. She did not, he came with a letter of recommendation.
Right.
She basically ran away.
Older sister, younger sister?
2 years older than he.
Okay.
She basically ran to London. She she would not explain, but he always believed that their uncle had something to do with her fleeing.
Oh.
Is she coming to the reading of the will?
She's not.
Damn.
And he does not know what she's done to pay the bills since arriving in London, and he has not asked.
Okay.
He has been slipping her money, but he knows that she came to London with basically nothing,
And is still
she
living
survived here.
in a terrible place.
Yeah, yeah, she survived here in a place where a lot of people don't survive. And he is convinced that it was their uncle who was why she felt the need to flee.
Is there
But
any
he doesn't know
way
that, and she wouldn't talk about it.
that he could introduce me to her?
Um,
And I'm going to be frank with him. I need to
he
find
will.
some. I need to talk to her.
He'll talk to her, but it's not going to happen soon.
Okay. I'm going to
He'll talk to her and
express
see what she thinks.
how important it is
But
for him
it's
to
very
go. I'm sorry.
it's
Go ahead.
very important from his perspective to never let anyone know this,
Right. Right.
because it is possible that she is engaged in theft or prostitution.
Yeah.
And if that was found out to be true, he can kiss his job at the bank goodbye.
Okay. So first thing, you, I give him my card for her. If she ever
Okay.
needs medical help, she needs to contact me and let her know
That he
that
can
there will
do.
be little or no charge. I'm also going to give him £20 to give to her to help her.
Okay.
And I'm
That he
going to
can do as well.
express that it is extremely important that he find out anything he can about his uncle from her.
Okay.
And
And
ask, did he have any hieroglyphs on his note?
He did, yeah.
Same ones?
Yes.
Okay.
He'll recognize the one he saw in
Yeah.
yours. In other words, every letter had the
Same
same
hieroglyphs.
sequence of hieroglyphs.
Okay.
So the letters were identical in that sense.
I'm also going to warn him that something strange seems to be happening that some of us are trying to find out a little bit more about with his uncle.
He's honestly not surprised. He always thought of his uncle as kind of a creep.
Yeah.
And he assumed that creepiness was something.
Yeah.
In fact, he did not assume. He gave it no thought, very much on purpose, for fear that whatever he did to his sister was the kind of thing you should never talk about, and you should bury in a deep, deep, deep hole.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it might be very important for us to know what that is.
And he doesn't know that that's
I
the
say
case.
Me to know what
he doesn't know that
be.
that's the case. It just because his sister never talked about why she felt the need to run away. But she came to London because she clearly didn't want to be found.
Okay.
Like she was hiding.
Yeah.
Possibly from him.
Probably. Yeah, I try to express how important I think it is to find out what he might have done.
He'll do what he can on that. Yeah. In fact, the fact that she never contacted her family is what makes him think that for sure, because she was afraid that if she contacted her father, his brother would learn where she was.
I also let him know his secret, and her secret is safe with me.
She was afraid of him.
Yeah. And that there might something odd is going on in Cambridge, and it might be dangerous, and I want to warn him of that, and for him to warn his family of that, his immediate family.
Yeah, he'll do that. Yeah, he'll do that.
Was Wibble ever married? Does he know?
Dr. Wibble?
Yeah, or do I know?
He believes that, from what he understood, he married when he was a young man. His wife died several years later.
Oh.
And he never remarried.
Oh.
That's the story he heard. He does not know details.
Oh, no. My last question for him is, Wibble lived in Cambridge most of his life, right? Okay.
Yeah. And once he took up the position teaching, he rarely left Cambridge again.
Okay. So we're leaving London.
He occasionally went on trips.
Okay.
But other than a vacation now and again, or maybe a research trip, he never really left Cambridge again.
Okay, we got to find his wife, like wherever she's buried, because I think that's going to be important.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's
And then
not
after that,
buried
it's
anywhere.
like, okay, it's like run home, get to the carriage, go pick everybody up, and head for Cambridge as quick as we can that afternoon for the 2 or 3 day
Got it.
trip.
Okay.
And
And
Josh and I, Baker and I have
Oh,
petitioned the club for the copy of the book.
yeah.
okay, did one of you make a credit rating roll?
Get Baker.
Whichever one.
His credit rating is super
Baker?
high.
Whichever one of you wants
I'll
to
do
do
it.
this.
I can do that. Credit rating, we want it below the number.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
And
Yeah, they'll loan it to you on a successful credit rating roll. Essentially, you're putting up a stake
Yeah.
against its value.
Poor people can't do that. They ain't got no stakes
roll.
because they're poor. We're all rich.
Alright.
Even some rich people can't do that.
Except
That's
Edgeworth.
quite a bit.
Edgeworth is not rich. He has a terrible
That's why the credit
reputation.
rating thing.
I'm okay.
Your reputation's
It's a
terrible.
regular- It's a
Yeah,
regular
there's that.
success.
Regular success. Fantastic.
That'll be enough
Well,
to get them to
success.
loan it to you.
So they can get the book and bring it along with and start the translation
Yes.
in the carriage or once we get there, whatever.
Mhm.
And,
Precisely.
And we're heading out of. So at the end of the game session, we're leaving London. Dark
Okay.
clouds are gathering ahead.
Yep.
For
And we will
Cambridge.
find out if these possibly embalming tools are still located in Dr. Wibble's office.
And the translating book, because that also might have notes or anything, and it might be.
Yeah, his copy
annotated.
of the Oedipus Egypticus.
Yeah.
Because we know he had a copy of it years ago.
And Declan and I on the way will talk about the possibility of a joint practice, or me helping his practice out, and me
Yep.
telling him about going into. Oh damn! This is Wednesday. This is the day I'm supposed to go into into the poor neighborhoods and help people, and I missed it. Oh no!
Yeah, you're going to miss that this week.
Might miss it for a few weeks if we don't get back. That's fine.
Just
I'm
go.
telling him
You
about
don't
that. I
feel
do
terrible.
that. That I go into neighborhoods and.
Okay.
Yeah, and are Edgeworth and Baker going to start in the carriage, or are you guys going to wait till we get there before you start trying to translate? Do you get car sick?
In
So
a
I guess what
carriage.
I'm asking.
Do you
Okay.
think I can? Do you think I can hold myself back when a book is right
That's
in front of me?
true.
Yeah,
Conchecks.
no.
Yeah.
It's a
All right.
carriage. Come on, it's not that fast.
Damn it, we didn't get any other allies. I was hoping to get that wrestler, or maybe
You got O'Brien.
your
That's
brother-in-law is who
Ravenhill.
I want. No, we're not
Yep.
going to use O'Brien.
Well-
He'll come into it.
Just because he's
We're-
Irish,
we're in a
right?
rush.
Just because he's Irish, you want to put him up front to take all the hits. I see what it is.
Oh,
How unkind.
rude.
I'm partially Irish.
Okay, so quick thing.
Is he?
It is
That's-
today is the 14th.
Yeah.
How do we feel about the 28th? 2 weeks out
That works for me.
Yeah, that works for me too.
now.
Where
All
are
right.
we?
Yeah, I don't
Are we in-
foresee any problems.
We're in May. Okay.
Yeah. Now the one thing is didn't happen today, is the schedule. My work schedule now for umpiring is all kinds of fucked because of how much rain we've had.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we've had a ton too.
So, yeah, I mean, put in perspective, I've worked 19 games and I've had 12 rained out.
Oh, damn. Okay. That's a lot.
So,
Just play in the
yeah.
rain. It's cool.
So,
Not
Yeah,
when there's
no.
lightning.
That's even more exciting.
And not when there's lightning, and two, some of them were softball, which is played usually in a dirt infield.
Yeah.
So there have been
Oh.
games where like you could drive a submarine to second base.
They don't even play
Not a
football
boat,
when it
a
rains
submarine.
anymore. It's really depressing. I miss rain games
Yeah.
and snow games in football. Those I might watch. Watch those
Oh,
people
those they still
sliding
play.
all over the place. They're fun.
Oh, those they still do.
Yeah.
Actually, I found
But
out something. I
They're
found out something
usually
last
in
season.
closed
Say,
But some of them are
coliseums.
domed. Yeah, Some of them.
They're normally domed now. Yeah.
I found out something I did not know. For instance, watching a game in Buffalo, it is against the rules of football to use anything other than your body to clear snow in advance of a play.
So you have to
Just
lay down
bump-
and just roll over.
Well, Buffalo was setting up a kick at the end of the game, and the snow was coming down real fast. So a bunch of players came out and started using their hands to shovel the snow
You're not
off the
allowed to
area
do
where the
that.
ball was going to go down. No, you are.
No.
The
Oh,
point
you
is you
can't.
can't use a towel or a shovel, but you can use your hands.
Yeah, but a lot of them wear
they
gloves
were just
now,
pushing
too,
the
right?
snow with their hands
Yeah.
because they couldn't like pick it up with a towel or bring out a shovel or a bucket or anything.
That
But
makes
they
sense.
could totally use their hands to move the snow.
You should have to eat
They were
it.
just trying.
You should only
were
be able
trying
to
to
move
clear
the
enough
snow
snow.
you can eat.
That's when you find the fattest lineman and you get a couple guys and just grab his arms,
drag him,
drag him.
Yeah, there we go.
Because they were basically just trying to clear enough grass to where the kick was going to go down.
Yeah, I was thinking we were going to have to leave early for Cambridge. I didn't think it would be quite this early, but
Well,
it is a good idea to get up there and clear his office out before somebody steals everything. We don't know when he died. We don't know anything. And I'm hitting some. I'm going to hit Cambridge newspapers once we get up there too, so I can try to find out when he died or if he died.
You got ideas about his wife though too. I saw your eyes light up about.
Man,
she's gonna be in a jar or something.
I'm thinking he's trying to bring her back to life. Is my thought. Like, when did he start these experiments with bringing people back to life? When did I see? I could give you a date when I was in Cambridge. Yeah. If he married young, and that was before he was teaching me, and she died already, then he could have, his whole thing could have started switching towards, I can raise the dead.
When you knew him, he had no wife.
Okay,
which means this
that's what I
happened
thought.
before you ever knew him.
So, raise the dead. I told you, Dipper, there's one thing I told you not to do. Raise the dead. And what did you do, Dipper? Raise the dead.
Raise the dead.
I love that show.
Yep.
Gravity Falls, so good.
Oh yeah, that was a really good show.
And that is a Call of Cthulhu campaign.
Yes, it is.
It kind of is, actually, yeah.
I fell in love with that freaking thing.
Like, it has no business being that, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, I love shows like that, where you're watching and like, this has no business going anywhere near here, and holy shit, it does. And man, does it work.
What if Alex Hirsch has ever played Call of Cthulhu? He has to.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be either, actually.
How many of the creators of current television grew up playing tabletop RPGs?
He seems like a lot of fun.
I love some of the actors that's come out and like have admitted to playing like tabletop role playing games.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And there's a story about I can't remember who it was who got Helen Mirren to join
I think
the
Andy wants to
D&D.
wrap up, and then we can continue.
We're going to wrap up the stream real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's
so
fine.
I'm going to turn everything off. So say bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.